Let's hear it. Dude, I want to stop, but this is grooving, and that's a beautiful.
I like
shot.
this. I like this.
This music is gangster. Feels
I'm about to buy
feels
some
like
mollies.
I just want to dance and feel happy.
Yeah, just want to dance.
Oh yeah, ladies and gentlemen, it is the PTPOD, and we are back. Pew, 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 pew. What's good? We are with my man Reef. Yeah, my man
What's
Pro's
up?
going to
What's
be
going
joining
on?
us shortly. What's up? As you guys know, I'm your host, FW Mike on Twitter, and we are back. Pew, 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 pew. Yeah. I am excited, guys. I am stoked. I am pumped. Normally, I come in by myself, but this man is so powerful. He's got so much fire. We just brought him in. We just going to have him at the top with us. My man, ladies and gentlemen, all the way from New York and all the way from the Haram Life podcast, it's Reef. Give it up. Pew, 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 pew.
What's up, everybody? Thank you for having me on. It's a pleasure.
Absolutely. How
This
you
is like
feeling today?
I've become a fan of you guys. You know, I used to jump in Pros every Friday night because he used to do his live streams outdoor and everything. Then I started following you, and now I've become a fanboy in the chat. I'm like, this is like it's like when you meet your heroes, you know.
That's crazy, man, because I feel the same. When I was trying to get all this stuff dialed in and working right, I watched you, man, and watched your podcast and your guys, because you guys do such a good job. From I got to figure out your backgrounds. You guys all match. The volumes are all those little things you don't realize until you start doing a podcast. You're like, oh, this is a lot. So yeah.
You and Pro mentioned the other day. It's like people don't understand how much work, how much money, how much time it takes to do it. Even though we do it once a week and we've been wanting to do more, but it just takes so much time to talk about what you're gonna do. And then you know what the crazy part is? We have everything planned out, and then we hit live and we throw everything out the window, and we don't even know. We just start talking about shit that has nothing to do with the podcast. And it's so tough.
Yeah, it does. Wait, once we get producers, it'll be a different game. But yeah.
That's the way it is. Yeah. Right now, I'm the bootleg producer, Chinatown special, Reef leader. You know.
But the cool thing is, you're learning a skill that is valuable. Like I had no idea I was learning a skill till somebody came to me and was like, "I will give you money to do a podcast for me." You know what I mean? So I'm doing my best. You are
doing a great job,
killing it. With that pew 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 pew. Yeah, I mean, you have a skill, and people will come to you, especially where you're at. Enough people want to do it. I would be very surprised. And I mean, if you just put it out there are people, realtors, car guys that are trying to make a name for themselves in a, regular, and not like us, not degenerates.
I got that out there now. I think it's one of the next. I tell people, we try to put people on. The reason why we started our podcast, little background, the Haram Life. Haram was my nickname growing up. So everybody used to call me, my real name's Arif. So everybody used to call me Haram Arif, or my net cousins and everybody. And then the Haram Life came because we started a clothing line, me and my cousin, that didn't do anything. A Haram Life. It was going to be like some bullshit thing. It never started. And then me and my boys were like, we need to do a podcast. So let's just name. I was like, listen, I got this name. My name's Haram. Let's just do the Haram Life. And then that's where it all came from. And now that we got this, I'm like, I've been doing a good job. I've been telling people, if you want to start a show, I can do everything for you. Just go. You hit play, I'll take care of everything else. And people don't realize how it is. Like you said, it's skill. It takes a lot of time to get it down. You know, being in sync with people is not easy. You know, even with just having one partner, it's tough, and it's tough to get on schedule with everybody. And sometimes you have a bad day, and it kind of brings you down, or nobody checks the thing, and you go through your highs and lows, and you're like, oh, maybe what am I doing? Am I doing this for nothing? And then, you know, as you stick through it, you keep getting better and better. But then you just start realizing, fuck it, we do it because we're having fun. That's why I do it. You know, I just enjoy talking to people. I enjoy hanging out with my friends once a week, making each other laugh. We still do like if we were in person. Like if you're in front of me, all I'll keep doing is trying to make you laugh and telling jokes. Like that's what we do. And you know, we're going to keep doing it till it dies out.
Hell yeah, man. Sometimes it's, you know, like going down on a New York hooker. You feel like you're just shouting into the void.
No, not me. I'm going,
That's fair. I see my man dropped in and then he dropped out. Whenever he's ready, we're going to bring him in. Speaking of having partners that are extremely difficult to work with, you know what I'm saying? People that it's just hard. I'm kidding. He's actually one of the best. I'm so lucky because, you know, and I think this is about your guys too. They understand the work. You know, like one thing about dealing with real men is real men value the work. And,
absolutely,
you know, working with certain folks, you're like, man, this dude is talented. He's got a lot going on. If I get in here, if he says, yeah, you can jump in the stream, you better swim. And, you know, with this guy, I was like, man, the only way I'm going to mess with this guy is by doing the work and showing him, you know, that I'm in. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, the man, the myth, the legend, DJ PRO2KALL. Pew, 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 pew.
Let me see. I got it. There we go. I got it. Y'all got it? Was that right?
Oh, yeah, we got it. We got it.
Aye. What's happening, fam? Y'all all right?
We're doing great. Doing great.
That's good. That's good. I see I got the conversation going. You know what I'm saying? I've been enjoying it. I was enjoying the DJ. She was doing her little thing. You know what I mean? I was listening. Yeah.
It helped that she was a little easy on the eyes, too.
Oh, brother.
Yeah, man.
Listen.
There are worse things. There are worse things.
But I enjoy it. I enjoy.
So, Pro, how you doing? How's your day?
What is it? Is it Tuesday? Yeah, it's Tuesday.
It's
good. Look, you see how good it was. I forgot what day it was. It was my day was actually pretty good. I wrapped up my I got approved with my advertisement partnership with Rumble today. So, you know, I'm happy about that. Yeah, man.
Tell us about it, man.
Man, listen, it's just God.
Don't be eating in front of hungry people. Don't be eating in front of hungry people.
Whatever you get, I want to cut. All right.
Hey, man.
Whatever you get from this show, I need a cut.
It's actually I got to set up. I need to set this up on Rumble. I'm gonna do that while we're talking. I didn't even set up a Rumble Live. Like I'm sitting here about to put it on Facebook because I'm really trying to get my local people actually moving, man. Like I'm from Savannah, but we call it Slovana because these motherfuckers is slow, bro. Like they be behind the 8 ball on shit. So
I was telling Mike, I started following you. I know you used to remember I used to jump in your Friday night chats all the time because I like that live show you did where you would do it with the festivals outdoors and everything. People would just pass by. That was pretty cool. That's what I like shit like that, like just real shit like that. And now you do it with your friends. Like last week, you were doing your friends. You usually have your friends on. It's something that we try to do too in our podcast. I love having our friends on. But I've noticed all my friends are like, "Yeah, put me on the podcast." And you hear you playing. They're like, "Humana." I'm like, "What happened to you, man? You talking all this shit? You come on the podcast, you ain't saying shit."
And you're like, I don't know what to do with my head.
Yeah, that's right.
Put them down.
Yeah, what happened to that Cash Money shit you was talking? What happened?
You bitched up, huh? You froze up and just straight up bitched up. Like, what happened? I my ass. No more.
Yeah.
No mas.
I'm just happy I get to do it with my friends. My best friends are my podcasting partners, so that's the good thing.
That's lit.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I want to tell people.
I'm sorry, guys. Friday. No, I'm sorry, bros. Yeah, my brother, close to my best. Well, he's basically my best friend. He was on the show Friday. That was sitting to my left, smooth.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, don't get that often because he's always working.
Cool dude, man. Cool dude. I could not get him to break on a laugh, a smile, nothing. So I can't wait to meet him in person. As a comedian, that's your whole goal in life is to make, especially the harder you make it on me, the harder I'm going to go to get you to laugh. I'm going to break you. It's what I do. You're going to crack up. I'm going to find it, but it takes a while sometimes with certain people. So.
Break them.
Yeah, there's nothing worse when you like go overboard trying to break them, and you say something like crazy, and you're like, damn, all right, that wasn't the move to go with.
I'm Farley style. You know what I mean? I will do a cartwheel with my belly showing. You know, I don't know. I don't care. I'll do what it takes, but you're gonna laugh.
Run into the glass slide door.
I used to do the Matt Foley. My name is Matt Foley when I was a kid. Like I did it for my high school talent show too. I would love that scene. I would know it word for word.
I'm blonde fat dude. Growing up, blonde fat dude. Of course, Farley was life to me, man. He died way too early. Speaking of that, Patrice died way too early too. We were talking about comedians and how you kind of grew up. The comedians we watched on TV, you grew up kind of watching the Comedy Cellar and stuff. Yeah.
Well, Comedy Cellar back in the see, New York people don't realize if you were a cool kid and you know how to handle yourself, and you brought girls with you, they would let you in anywhere. You just had to play it cool. So the Comedy Cellar, there was a place called Cafe Wa, which is right next door to it. So you would go to Cafe Wa. You would go there for live music, and then you get to go into Comedy Cellar if you were cool. So that's how we saw these. We saw like Patrice, we saw Robert Kelly, Colin Quinn. I got to see what's his name when he was first, Kevin Hart, when he was first Raw and new. Like he wasn't really enjoyable, but you got to see all these guys. Chris Rock, I saw a couple. Jim Norton, you know, all the Rich Voss, Honey Guy, like all these guys, man. You got to see him, and it was just like we got to see him at like 15, 16 years old. And my brother, I got a twin brother who's literally 6 feet tall. I'm 5'6". It's like Arnold and Danny, me and him. But me and my brother would go there all the time and kind of like use all the material and use it on people. And they'd be like, "Wow, these two guys are funny." Meanwhile, we're just ripping off people the whole time.
Heck yeah. Pro, tell us about Savannah, man. What's the comedy scene there like?
So it's like this, right? Who's from here that I know?
Isn't Miss Pat from there? Isn't Miss Pat from Savannah, from Georgia?
Yes. Yeah. Comedian Redbone, he's from Savannah. Who else? That's the only ones that I can think about, man. Chris says it sucks. I'm gonna say it's like that's my pilot, by the way, guys. That's my personal pilot that just hopped in the chat right there.
Okay, all right,
man. Yeah, check his page out, man. He got some dope stuff, man. He got some dope aircraft, man. Funny thing is, I have a personal pilot, and I haven't flown on a plane yet, but that's my personal pilot.
Listen, at least you got one on deck, ready when you do get the plane.
Yeah. So, but like it has its ups and downs. They're trying, all right. They're trying, but it's like everything else in Savannah, man. Again, like I said earlier, we are slow Savannah, but we have some good comedians. I was looking at some stuff from had to be this weekend, had to be like Saturday or Sunday. Facebook has been showing me things like 3 and 4 days late. So I don't know what the day it was, but you been getting that?
Have you gotten everything back from our strikes? Because I still can't go live on PTPOD. Won't let me go live.
I was on that show when you guys got banned. I was watching you guys. Yeah, that was a Super Bowl show, right?
Yeah.
You
know what's funny is while you were doing it, you're like, "We're gonna get banned because I'm playing the Super Bowl and nobody's talking." And then, or was it the Power Slap one? One of those two.
Power
you were
Slap.
saying, yeah. And then you were like, "We're gonna get banned because nobody's talking," and then that's what happened.
That's what happened. Oh man, they've been ugly. Shoot, my yeah, see, I'm telling you, he's been trying to get me on the planes, man. Just the time. It's the time. It's
Mike. How long have you been doing comedy?
Oh God, almost 20 years on and off. So I'm probably. What's funny is I'm old. I am older than Protocol. We both know that, and I'm probably older than you, Reef.
I'm 42.
Yeah, I'm older than you.
Yeah. Well, you look young.
Yeah. Man,
you know,
white don't crack. You know what I'm saying?
White is crack. What do you mean?
Word.
The whiter the crackier. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely, yeah. No, you know, I attribute it to living in Hawaii and
getting all that vitamin D. Pause.
Yeah, actual vitamin D. Stop.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, man, sauna therapy. Look up Dr. Rhonda Patrick.
I know Rhonda Patrick very well. Yeah. I've known about her stuff for years now.
In fact, on a quick personal note, man, since this is my little personal show, went to the doctor today, had a great visit on no antidepressants or anything He was talking about putting me on some because you know how life can get. You know what I mean, dealing with these yahoos. But since I got heavily back into working out, fighting for it, the secret is this, man, because we're all busy, right? And this is something I want everybody to hear. The secret is just making the decision to do it. You're like, I'm taking 2 hours because everybody wants shit from me, right? It's like, it's not my time really at the end of the day. Because if it was, I'd be in the gym for 4 hours. You know what I mean? Just looking good, sauna, swimming, cardio, weights, whatever. But I don't have that kind of time. But everybody that wants something from me wants the best from me. They expect the best from me. But I can't give them my best if I feel like crap all the time. If I'm exhausted, worn out, angry, just pissed off at the world. You know what I mean? So one of the best things I can do is take care of myself for the people around me that I love, care about, and fighting with, and negotiating with. One of the best possible things I can do is take care of myself. So, you know, back like today was a cardio day. Before, you would never get me going to the gym just for a cardio day.
Yeah, I did the same today. Yeah.
Really? Yeah,
I
man.
did the same, just cardio today.
What did you hit?
I did the Stairmaster for like 45 minutes, and that's it today.
Nice. I did the up and down the mountain hike on the.
All right, that's nice. Yeah, I like that. The mountain climber, whatever that is. Yeah. That's nice.
Man. And then I just rocked out the you know, the weighted sit-ups where you put the weights on the back of the thing and you come forward.
Just got to get in there. As you get older, once you start getting in the gym, I've been in the gym since I'm like 15 years old. It was a big part of my life, and you know, now I just got hurt, so I can't really go heavy anymore. So I've been doing yoga every morning now. 20 minutes on YouTube. I just pop it on in the morning and I stretch in the morning. 20 minutes, me feel so much better. And at first I was like, this is kind of gay. I'm doing yoga, and I'm like, but now it's cool. Now if you go to hot yoga, there's little trick guys out there listening. When you go to hot yoga, there's some fly women out there, bro. And just because you're going, you're already in, because they're like, oh my God, this guy's with us. He's so great. You know, just go to hot yoga.
Yeah, if you take a hot yoga class in a gym setting, and then there's like a sauna in that gym, so after the hot yoga, you go in the sauna. It's great. You're not the girls coming at you, and you're just rapping. It was a fun time back in the day. But yoga is a game changer. What's funny is a lot of NFL players do yoga. A lot of UFC guys do yoga, just because of the stretching. Man, you don't realize, and that's the problem with like a lot of stuff, right? Like I hear yoga and I'm like, oh, you know, gay girl shit, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's not at all. It's like meditation, breathing exercises. All of this stuff is stuff that the greatest warriors throughout history have done. I studied a lot of the, you know, living in Hawaii, you get a lot of that Asian culture. I know you do too, where you're at. That's the cool thing about where you're at. You get a lot of everybody culture.
You got everything here. You got everybody's culture here.
But yeah, man, those breathing exercises are just for calm. And, you know, when you fight, you know, a lot of it is you got to breathe. You know what I mean? I want to hear hard exhale when you punch, that kind of stuff.
Yep.
And you're a big fight fan, right?
Huge fight fan. Absolutely huge. My partner was a fighter. His father was a professional fighter, legend in the Haram Life podcast. Legend's father was a professional fighter. He fought on the Ali Norton undercard. And growing up, we knew Arturo Gotti's manager, Patty Lynch. So we'd go to every single Arturo Gotti fight. I mean, we went to like 12, 13 of them. And we were always part of the fight game. We always understood fight game. I was like moderators on like boxingrec.com and all these different things. I was so obsessed with the fight game that now it's a little depressing where it's gone because of greed and everything else. And a lot of these fighters are kind of pussy. I'm not going to lie. But so it's like, so now the boxing scene's kind of changed, but I love boxing. I was at the Lomachenko-Haney fight last year, and that was a great fight. And then this year I'm hoping to go to the Haney-Ryan Garcia fight. I was supposed to go this month to the Tyson Fury fight with what's his name, Usyk, and that got canceled. Yeah. But you know, boxing's it's found its way, you know. And then you have UFC as well, which I got into because boxing was so poor, you know, with their matchups and everything, that I got into UFC because it's just I love watching the fight game, and it's exciting to watch the UFC because you always have because UFC is that sport where you can lose and still be a contender. Boxing, you lose and it's over. That you get your name got forgotten. You know, and like we say, oh, Mayweather started that, but Mayweather was great and he fought the best, and he was the best at everything. Every guy he fought, his goal was not to get hit. You know, it wasn't what everybody wanted, but he was great at that, at not getting hit. I mean, the best to probably ever do it at not getting hit.
I've never seen somebody be so accurate and combo so well while they're backpedaling.
You know I mean, and people forget there was two versions of Floyd Mayweather. There was Pretty Boy Floyd who was knocking everybody out. And then there was Mayweather, who, because he hurt his hands when he was fighting, he started just avoiding punches and starting to be this elusive fighter. And I mean, when he was Pretty Boy Floyd, he was knocking out the best fighters. I mean, he fought guys like Judah. He fought, you know, if you forget those early rounds, you know, Gotti. He fought, you know, Corrales. He fought Morales. You know, these guys were all studs back then, and he was knocking them out.
Heck yeah. The thing that frustrates me about boxing, I think, is how, and I don't know, man, you know, I'm not government regulation for a bunch of stuff, but it's so diluted. I mean, in Oklahoma alone, we have like, you know, 3, 4 heavyweight champions. And it's like, you know what I mean? And then we have like 6 cruiserweight champs because of all the different promotions. And that's happening in comedy now. Before, for a while, it was the festival grift, which, by the way, you ever want to do a comedy festival? I'm in. It is the griftiest of all grifts because you don't pay the comics. You don't pay them anything. We could call it the Haram Life Comedy Festival, right?
I like that.
Think about all the, you know, guys just working that, you know, can't even get on stage, you know, open micers. And you get those guys that are doing the you know, the side gigs, which is where you actually earn your living because there's just not that many club gigs, especially now with the podcast. They're booking guys who have never done stand-up, but they want to try comedy. And now they get a headliner spot because they'll sell tickets. And a guy who's been doing comedy. Wait till you talk to Sam Tripoli about this during the Grifties. It's a frustrating thing. However, you do your side gigs, your bars, your clubs, your karaoke places that have a comedy night. But those guys, a lot of those guys are good. You know what I mean? But they got exposure. The exposure. Sure. I'm just saying, that's a wife for you. You know what I'm saying? Jason in the building. What's good, Jason? Pew, 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 pew. But yeah, no, that's the thing, man, is, you know, it's like, well, okay, well, I'm driving 4 hours one way to do this gig and there's no hotel, so I'm driving back. Okay, well, sure, but how much are they paying you? Exposure. I'm getting paid in exposure.
Yeah,
They're going to take a picture and tag me in it. So anyway, we call it the Haram Life Comedy Festival. We just advertise. We get 20, 30 comedians. We're not paying. We get the venue to say yes to us. We sell all the tickets. We basically make a, you know, the laminate that says you're a part of it. It's the Haram Life Podcast Festival, and boom, and done. We do a little marketing. We keep all the money, save for what we split with the bar. We can't pay anyone because if we pay anyone, like the biggest one in Oklahoma, and you might know this guy because you know comedy, but hardly anybody does. He had a show on Comedy Central. A guy named Joe Pera.
Yeah, I know. Yes,
yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
You know, and he's like, you know, he's a you know, real, you know, alt comedy guy. Yeah, you're very feminine, I guess, would be the word.
Hey, he's got a little sugar in the tank. That's all right.
Which is nothing wrong with that, but I'm just saying
that's not at all.
They book, and he's the huge headliner for the quote unquote biggest comedy festival in the state of Oklahoma. And I'm like, I can do that easy. You know what I'm saying? That's not a hard thing to do. You know what I'm saying? So
I tried comedy when I was younger, but I would do open mics, but I wasn't good at writing the material. I was just so good at working the crowd, like making fun of people with their girls and everything like that. I would just walk around and just pick on people as I was going on. Because I'm 20 years, I'm an operating engineer. So that's more of like a construction site all the time. So the guys in the construction are probably the best comedians because they're breaking your balls. I mean, 24/7 over there. So you got to be quick. So I was good at going open nights and seeing people and talking about New York and seeing this guy. Like, why would you bring your girl here? It's a free show. You know what I mean? You don't even love this girl and just go around, just hammer people. But as you know, you're a comedian, you have to write your shit. And I just wasn't good at writing, sitting down and actually thinking about things.
I agree. First of all, shout out to Iron Bull Tours. Pew, 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 pew. Shout out to Iron Bull in the building. We love you, Iron Bull. Speaking of comedy, when we come for Juneteenth, man, I'm going to try to book a comedy show somewhere around there. I got some folks, and then I know Pro's got some folks. And I just think it'd be fun, man, especially if we could get Pro DJing. Iron Bull, I know you got, I think that's called bully. Shut up.
You got to be bullied a little bit, you know. You got to be bullied.
Yeah, no, man. That's what I do. In fact,
you guys got cool hats and shit on. Wait a minute, hold on. I'll be back because this ain't gonna work.
How dare us have? I just came from.
You know, gym. I saw Dice Man do crowd work when I was like 18 years old. Andrew Dice Clay. And I remember him going in front and looking at somebody and going, "Who the fuck do you think you are?" Can I curse on your podcast? I'm going to curse. Sorry.
Yeah.
Who the fuck do you think you are sitting front row at my show? And I was like, "Oh, this guy's great. This guy's great." And he's just hammering the guy. He's like, "You thought it'd be a good idea to see the Dice Man with your girl?" And he just hammered this poor guy. And he just threw him out of the show for no reason. I was like, "Oh, man, this is great."
See, I miss the old days of comedy. Literally, here's comedy nowadays versus then. Okay, so back in the day, you could say whatever you wanted as long as it was funny. You know what I mean? Oh, she says she's married to the king of crowd.
Oh, yeah, now she's trying to save you.
Yeah, and I love it. So that's what I do. What I'm known for, because you need a hook, right? When you're out there on the road. And that's my hook, is that the very first thing I do. You'll see if I get the chance. Probably not at the Grifties, but eventually. Maybe Friday night, but because they're already talking about if you want a guest set. But I'm like, I don't know.
Shout out to Mike Romanelli. Those guys are cool guys up at Tips Comedy Dojo. Romanelli and his crew used to go clubbing with my crew back in the day. I used to see those guys all the time.
You know Mike?
I know him very vaguely because we're in the 4 Deep Discord during COVID and everything. He had a really big Discord. And I knew him because he used to go to the same clubs, him and Tommy G and his little crew there. Those guys used to go clubbing at the same clubs.
Yeah, you don't realize how, like, the scene is small, but it doesn't matter who I mention. He's like, yeah, Joe List was there a couple weeks ago. He's like, yeah, I got you. I'm like, Joe List is legend. You know what I mean?
He's a murderer. He goes up there and murders.
Let's see. We gotta see something for a second here. Let's see. We gotta do this. Shit. Hold on. Boom, I'm learning it. What's that hat say? Brother of the Year 2022. Yeah.
Would you buy it for yourself?
Nah. Actually, I earned this one. I earned this one.
Oh shit!
I earned this one.
So what's funny about that is I remember because Anthony Cumia, that's where it started. The Proud Boys. It started on Anthony Cumia's on his show, The Compound, with Gavin. They were on the Cumia show, and one of his guys, Garrett, is one of the producers for the Compound Media. They would make fun of him, and that's where Proud Boys started. It was never this, what they call it now, this like operation, whatever it was. It was literally just it blew up into something else. But I remember the first day it started. I remember watching that Anthony Cumia show and seeing the Proud Boys start. And now when they hear about it, I'm like, this was about a joke. And Gavin and these guys would meet up and be drinking. Yeah, it started as a joke.
Yeah, we started as a drinking fraternity. Yeah. Right. Just where men could be men, scratch your balls, fart, talk about women. And found out that there was a huge need essentially around not only the country, but the world, where men could just be men. It used to be strip clubs, but then that got taken over by feminazis, and we needed something else. And it became this. And now we're just a fraternity of drinking on the weekends, but we also have fun and help groom men into being men, and protecting who needs to be protected. So shouts out to my brothers. We're not a clearly we're not a white supremacist organization, because Brother of the Year 2022 with a big ass red, black, and green flag behind me, like it defeats your narrative. You know what I mean? Like, we're just great men trying to continuously be great men and build greater men and be a safe space, if that's even the right vernacular for men, what I'm saying, to turn boys into men and have men go somewhere and love on each other. False.
I love that. And speaking of that, Reef, your podcast, The Haram Life, you have a couple of good friends on there. You have Chato, your producer, and then the Machine.
Legend. The legend.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I want to call him the Machine. I keep wanting to do that.
He's a machine. The guy's like 6'4", 280. The guy's a monster.
And what's funny is he's cool. Like, he's one of those guys, I think you meet him initially, you'd be like, oh, if I make this guy mad and he's got a short fuse. And then you sit with him, he's like, what are you, fucking stupid? And you're like, what are you, stupid? And he starts laughing, cracking jokes with you. Yeah.
And this guy, he taught me everything about like picking up women back in the day. The guy was just, because women flocked to him. The guy's got a scar on his face, big Italian guy, tanned up Jack. He told me everything about women, how to be cool. I mean, the guy is like my big brother, and there's nobody nicer and more loyal in this world than Legend. I mean, the guy's a great guy.
And what I like is you guys, without being like, this is what a man is in the manosphere, you guys just are men. You talk about life experiences, how to deal with women, how to deal with other dudes, how to be a decent dude. Also, because of where you guys are at in the country, it's hard to find your perspective on these things there, especially because you guys got some experience. Clearly, you're not new. I think Chato's probably the youngest one, your
Yeah,
producer.
he's 32. Yeah, he's the youngest.
So talk to us a little bit about that. Like, what was the motivation when you put the show together, and that kind of stuff there?
Well, originally when we started, it was me and Legend. We wanted to do a conspiracy podcast, because we knew a lot about, we were just into conspiracies, and that's just, we would talk all the time. And then as we started recording, we just started telling stories, and we started.
So I know when you're done with this, we're going to talk about why there are no dinosaurs. It was a big hustle. It's because it's true.
It's the same thing. Like, we just started about conspiracies, and then as we're talking, we're like, we can only talk so much about conspiracies. We're not experts on conspiracies. I like to read. I'm a big historian. I love to read about history and everything like that. But as far as going deep into conspiracies, I'll watch a TikTok video. That's as good as I am about conspiracies. So we're going to keep running out of topics. So as we were going on, we got some friends on in the beginning. We're like, this is more fun, having like a round table podcast where we can just go back and forth, tell experiences and stuff like that. And then as we were doing that, we're like, this is our field right here. This is where we're most comfortable, and this is what it's going to be. And when I first started the podcast, I was single, dating, because I was just newly single, divorced, and I was dating in the world. So that's where most of our viewers were tuning in to see what my new dating stories were like. And then now I got a girl now, so it's been different. But dating now in this scene, it's not the same like anybody else thinks. It's a madhouse out there. It really is. It's something else. And you see that there's a lack of people, as you see Fresh and Fit getting famous. Like, if those dorks can have people, like, we're real people and real guys that can get you real women and act like real men. Like, just listen to us, and it kind of sticks with a lot of people.
Yeah, it makes sense, and it echoes. And once again, it's not your grift. It's not like Haram Life podcast, how to be a dude and bang chicks.
No, yeah. If you listen, we talk about everything. We just talk about life and experience. And you have to lead by example. We're not sitting here going, oh, bang these girls. And in the beginning, we used to have OnlyFans girls on, but we didn't treat them like whores. They just wanted to come on. They're like, oh, I want to come on your podcast. We would have OnlyFans girls on too and talk, and humanize them instead of making them whores or whatever they, like other people would do. It's just we're just a bunch of normal dudes. We have normal jobs. They're family guys, Chano and Legend, and it's more to accentuate that than to try to be something we're not, and try to be like these red pillars or like try to be a manosphere things. I have more manosphere takes, but I come off a little bit more like, red pill kind of man. It's just that sometimes you just gotta be real with people. It's the only way. A lot of women will listen to me and be like, this guy's a misogynist. I'm like, I'm not a misogynist. It's just the truth hurts, and reality is not with women. Like, most of the time, and sorry to all the women listening, they don't like to listen to the truth, but most of the time the truth, what's real and what is not, is two different things. And sometimes the truth hurts. And it's just that, see, that's the only way to be with women, straight up with them. Because they can sense fake. They can sense when you're weak. They can sense when you're too sensitive. They're a lot smarter than they lead on to be.
Do they know when you're sleeping? Do they know when you're awake? Do they know when you're bad or good? So be good for goodness sakes. Yeah, no, man. What's funny is back in the day, I worked with, I don't know if you know who, like, Vince Kelvin. Do you remember a show called The Pickup Artist on
Yes,
VH1?
I do. Yeah. I do remember that.
So Vince Kelvin was one of the guys there. It was like, God, I can't remember, the tall, skinny one. And Vince was one of the side guys. There was Taurus, who, and then there was Vince Kelvin, and he had the crazy hair. And like, I have you got a list. Anyway, I worked with Vince on some stuff, and then there are some other guys that were in that sphere before Andrew Tate really. He knew how to market it in a much better way. These other guys were trying to do the old school way.
Well, like, you had Rollo, who was one of the old school guys. He used to write his first book, The Rational Male, was a book like in the mid 2000s. That was a very good book, and it's a very good book to read if you're a young man. But he picked up his stuff from those pickup artists from back in the day, like Donovan Sharp, and then you had Coach Greg Adams that was doing it for a while. These guys were well before Andrew Tate and writing pickup artist books. Like, they would have tapes that you would listen to. And it was pretty much the same thing that the red pill is now, because the pickup artists don't say, oh, this is how you finesse a chick. It was more how to better yourself and appear confident to women. Instead of just coming off as a misogynist pig, you would just make yourself appear confident. And that's what the whole pickup artist game was. And it wasn't until like Kevin Samuels and then Andrew Tate that they really made this red pill like really take off. And it was mainly because of COVID and everybody was home taking in all this content. And that's where it really blew up.
I agree. Also, I think that's what the big change was, because the hardcore pickup artist thing swung so feminine. It was about peacocking and negging, and it was basically about using women's tactics to appeal to women or to beat women because you're playing their own game instead of forcing them to play
short term.
Your game.
Those are such short term goals, though. You know, you'll get laid, but you won't find a wife.
Yeah, exactly. And exactly. What a great way to say it. So, and then, you know, the Tates came out, and then, you know, everybody, and Samuels, and it was like, no, you're a dude, make them come to you. And one of the best things I tell all my young brothers this: attract, don't chase. It's that simple. Those 3 words. And I'm talking with jobs, I'm talking with partners, business wise, I'm talking with everything. Attract, don't chase. It doesn't mean if I'm interested in working with you, I don't reach out to you. But if there's nothing in me if there are no natural qualities coming out of me that make you want to fuck with me on some level, then absolutely. I need to go back and work with me. I don't need to scam you or hustle you or razzle dazzle you, because at the end of the day, the work's going to have to be done. You know, whether it's a relationship, a partnership, producing something for someone, no matter how good I sell myself, at the end of the day, if I can't make that work happen, it's trash. So,
absolutely, 100%.
Yeah, no, you guys live it. You guys literally live it. That's literally what I was going to say, Mr. Reef. Yeah, short term gain for long term pain too, because I think that shit can mess you up to a certain extent, because you become. I mean, I'm not going to say I was ever a sex addict, but appealing to women, getting a body count. If I went out and I didn't pick up a chick or get a number, or at least not necessarily hook up, but go to an after party or have the chick and my homies, you know, that was like a competition for us.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that changes your whole priority, and it takes you away from being the man you need to be, because now you're something that just pleases women enough to get them to say yes for a short period of time.
Yeah. You see, that was the thing. We were so good at doing it when we were younger, but we attracted good women, and we were able to hang out with good women most of our lives. So we never really cared getting laid, constantly ramping up the numbers. Because like you said, when you're just a good person and you give off good vibes, you can get as many as you want. It's like fishing with dynamite, really.
So how long have you been in your current relationship?
Right now, about a year now, almost a year. My current,
we are going
almost a year.
We are going full fresh and fit, but that's cool.
Here we go. Yeah,
almost
my body count.
So okay. So you're a man over 35. We'll just say that, because you've already given us your age, but nobody needs to hear that over and over. Yeah. I understand. Okay, so you're a man over 35, yet you're only in a relationship for a year. Most guys your age been married for a while, maybe have a kid or two. What's wrong with you? Why are you broken in a way where it doesn't work? I'm kidding.
No, I know what you're saying. No. No, I know what you say, because women will say that to you. And women will say that to you, and then people will say, well, you're broken. But here's the thing. I can be 40, and I was dating 25-year-olds. You know, I could be 30. It doesn't. As a man, the older you get, you can still get any age of women. You know, it doesn't matter. You're not really broken. The other way around, when you look at women, it's not that they're older. It's just that they want to have kids. At 40, it's not really that easy. You know what I mean?
Right. No, it's not. Well, or, you know, you decide you don't want to have kids. I mean, I got married over 40. I got married last April. From the man, she mad. Calm down, babe. Relax. I'm gonna delete that comment. That's the first comment I've had. Anyway, shout out to Jonah. Pew, 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 pew. What's wrong with me? Many things, Jonah. All the things, like you name it, I probably have dealt with it or got it.
All the small things.
Small things, exactly.
Yeah, but to your point, like the older you get, I think you pick up a lot more game, and it's easier to pick up the younger women because you know how to talk to them at that point. But it's hard to, you know, when you got that long age gap. It's like my ex-wife was like 15 years younger than me, and it was hard to like kind of fill in that gap. We were so worlds apart. It's just that she was a smoke show, and I enjoyed being around the smoke show. You know what I mean? So it didn't really add up, though. Our worlds were so apart when we first when we started actually living together and like living a day-to-day thing. So for the men out there, you got to find someone that you really connect with to live with. You know, you can't change somebody.
Yeah, no. Once again, I didn't get married till my mid 40s, so I'm not judging you, man.
No, absolutely, no. You got to be entertaining.
Yeah, well, and not only that, but it also, man, one of the hardest. Look, I got married early. You know what I mean? I made that mistake. when I was trying to do the comedy thing. I was living in Hawaii. A woman fell in love with me. She should have known better. Still my fault. I still own it. But I was out there, man. I was partying. I wasn't ready to be married. I was ready to tour as a comedian, make that actor money, be in the clubs. But I wanted the wife at home too. Bad mistake. You got to know who you are before you know. Like, I'll give you an example. I had a couple of main things I wanted in a woman. First one was I wanted her to not drink if possible. And it was okay if she did, but I didn't want her to drink because I quit drinking 4 years ago and I just don't drink now. Second thing, didn't want her to have kids because I don't have kids. And I for years I was the MILF whisperer. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean I know how to slam dunk it. So I could get them MILFs. So I didn't want her to have kids, and the number one thing is I wanted her to have a spiritual walk. She didn't have to, be a Baptist or a Catholic or anything, but she had to love God. She had to have that in her life. She couldn't be an atheist or whatever. She had to believe in a higher power and be on some level, seeking guidance from that higher power, because that's important to me.
I've been with some atheist girls, and A, they're freaks, but two, they're just off their biscuits. I mean, they don't even know where they are half the time, and not having like a spiritual connection with the higher power. What really do you stand for, and how can you really motivate? Like, how can you not have anything to answer to? Like, when I ask people, like, I dated a girl who's like, I don't believe in God. I'm like, well, then what do you believe in? Like, what is this? Do you believe in heaven, or do you believe in evil? Well, then there you go. You believe in some form of this, like, this evil, this God and devil thing. But it's like, where do you stand? And I feel like those girls are, the biggest whores.
They're fine. They're trying to suck Jesus out of that bag. They're worried. I gotta fight it.
But most people that don't believe in God are usually very damaged people. Like, those are the people that you see, and no judgment to people that don't believe in God, whatever your thing is, if you're atheist and whatever. But, I've noticed from my experience, most of the people that have said to me, I don't believe in God, are usually just maniacs, and they usually come with a septum ring and, a lot of bad tattoos.
Facts.
Bro, what's your thoughts on that? Have you ever dipped your pin into the purple hair, gender fluid, but can get really good drugs ink? You ever dipped your pin in that?
No, never been with a gender fluider.
Listen,
I've had a bull ring. I've had the bull ring before. I have had that. No purple hair. I've had red haired, I've had blue haired, I've had pink haired, I've had blonde haired, I've had brunette, haven't had the purple.
Sometimes when you need a Percocet, you do what you got to do. You know what I mean?
Hey, you know what? Guess what? As a DJ, as a member of the culture, right? I have never done any. I've sipped lean one time and was like, "Oh no, this shit tastes too good. Niggas' heart be bursting. I'm done."
I wish I could have said the same.
Right? That's the difference between a normal person and an addict. I know it. It's like I was telling a friend of mine who is a recovering addict too. I messed around and got a pain pill. I thought it was a Tylenol 3 and not a regular Tylenol. Which is fine. I mean, I'm not the kind of guy that is like, oh God, I smell alcohol. Now I'm going to be sucking dicks on the street, or
for wooden nickels.
Yeah, I'm going to be sucking dick on the street for a warm place to sleep. No, it's not like that anymore. You know what I mean? I never did that. But it's not like that for me. I can be like, oh, that feels good. I need to be careful. But no, man, the first thought, I took a pain pill or a little bit strong, and I'm talking like not like a Vicodin or anything. This wasn't like hardcore cancer painkiller drugs, the ones that I needed to function a few years back. Just regular shit. But it's one of those, you take it, and my first thought in my brain, just so you know, I'm an addict, was I need more of these. How can I get more? I feel great. This is how I'm supposed to feel. This is how I'm supposed to. If I could feel like this all the time, I could do everything I'm trying to do without stress. Yes. Yeah. That's the bro kid.
I fell into that path, and I mentioned on my podcast that like I got hurt as a kid. I was 28 years old. I got hurt, and the first thing that I have 2 herniated discs in my lower back, and the first thing the doctor said at 20 years old is, "Here's 120 Percocets." So I was like, "Oh, great!" And he gave it to me. That was my first script, 120. And then like 5 years later, I'm doing like 30 milligram Roxycontins 10 times a day, you know. But the problem with me is I was an addict that was still functioning. You know, I was going to the gym, I was working, I was, you know, but meanwhile, my life was a disaster. Even though I was able to do everything, nobody looked at me and said, "Oh my God, this guy's off his rocker. Like, there's something wrong with this guy." Because everybody's like, "Oh, he's still going to work. He's still functioning. He's still doing everything." Meanwhile, I'm destroying my body. I was taking so much. I don't remember like a couple of years. Like a lot of the 2 years is just cloudy. And I ended up going just cold turkey to quit everything.
Cold turkey? You just
cold
shut
turkey,
it down?
yeah. I just shut it down one day.
Rehab or anything? Did you go to
No
like
rehab.
an NA program?
No, never. Like I just shut it down. I got sick for like 2 weeks, like really sick, and that was it. And then like now I remember somebody gave me a Percocet, and my body got really sick, and I was like, all right, it's just out of the system. I did a lot of mushrooms, a lot of DMT. I had a lot of like spiritual awakenings that way, and that was it. That was that. Once I got off it, I was like, I don't really want that. I remember hanging out with my nieces and nephews, and them looking at me like I'm the greatest guy in the world, and hanging out with them, feeling like, oh, I'm such a piece of shit, you know. And then that just changed everything for me.
Yeah, and people don't understand the pill. A lot of heroin addicts, a lot of addicts on that level, they don't start out doing heroin. They start out on pills, and I know that because that's the thing. For me, it was Vicodin. I had a kidney stone surgery. They gave me 88 lot of Vicodin with 2 refills, and by the third Vicodin, which they didn't realize was so habit forming until it was too late.
Yeah, so at first they said it wasn't. They were like, don't worry about it. You can take it. No big deal.
Come on.
Take 10. Yeah, it's like Tylenols.
Exactly. So you go through that, and then it's like, and then you have friends with pills, but their scripts run out eventually, and that kind of thing. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I need pills. And then you're going to this skanky guy who, you know, maybe can, and then there's just no pills around. They're like, we got a thing and you can smoke it or shoot it. You're like, that's H, dog. Like that's straight up H. You know what I mean? Or methadone, like you can get, but methadone is just awful. I don't recommend any drugs. No drugs, but methadone is like, doesn't give you the high. It doesn't, it's awful. So
just makes you feel sick.
Yeah, it makes you feel sick, and it kills the craving. Like on the level of,
then you get hooked on the methadone. It's like it's just there's no end in sight. I mean, the best thing that could have happened, I'm not saying the best thing, is I lost a lot of friends to you know, fentanyl overdoses and all this heroin. So that was the only reason why I was able to really kick it so easily, because my friends were dropping, a lot of my friends. And a lot of the guys were union guys, plumbers, workers, the guys that were really bad shoulders, bad knees. They were taking this because they really were hurt, and they just ended up getting hooked. And the same thing, once the doctor takes the scripts away, they went to heroin. And that's where the downfall came.
Man, that's, yeah. And of course, in the entertainment business, you're expected. Like, you don't do drugs? What's wrong with you? You don't get smashed.
Oh, yeah. And I would love partying. Don't get me wrong. But now you don't know what's in it. So even if it's around, I'm like, I got a cousin who's a big DJ, underground DJ. Shout out to DJ Rama if you're listening. He's a big worldwide DJ. And the same thing, you go to his parties, people are always offering. I wouldn't even try it. There's no way. Won't even come close to it because you don't know what's in it anymore.
Right. I'm just mad people still offer you drugs. That's how I know I'm old. People don't offer me drugs.
I still got a gray beard. Once I died a little bit, they still think I'm in my 30s, you know?
You know you get old when you ask for drugs and they scream narc. Narc, narc. I'm like, no. It's like, okay, so when you're in your 20s and you can mess up for 20 years and still be fine and land on your feet. You don't own a home. You don't have a mortgage. You don't have a wife. You don't have a family. They're like, do all the drugs you want and learn. Yeah. But my age, you know what I'm saying? Everything.
No, you can't do it. It's over.
But I can't have a little mental vacation. Man, screw you. Make the kids work and give me the ecstasy. All right? That's what I'm telling you. Anyway, yeah. That's man, that's cool. Shout out to your DJ, like I DJ Rafa, yeah?
DJ Rama.
DJ Rama. Yeah. That's very cool, man. So if he can get us drugs, give him a call. No problem.
He's actually spinning in Dresden this weekend in Germany. He's actually out there this week. Yeah. He's one of those old school guys, just spins vinyl. There's no nothing, just vinyls. He finds all the records. He's got one of the largest vinyl collections for house DJs. And every one of his sets is a unique set because it's not recorded. There's no mixing involved, just his live mixing, and that's it with live records, everything he does. It's fascinating to watch, and the sound that comes out is amazing.
That's so cool, man. That's that old school 2 techniques, you know what I mean, in a mixer, and just pitch just a little bit, boom, and sliding it. Dude, I love that. That's so cool.
It's better than like when you see these guys who are hitting the record button and you just, you know, you're just clapping and everybody's pretending they're DJing. It's really cool to see it when it's
dude, I can see, yeah, man, they don't DJ. I remember oh god, because I got to stand backstage with him. Mousehead. Big Mousehead.
Dead Mouse.
Yeah. He came to Hawaii and it was a festival thing, and I wasn't working it, but as a comedian known, I got tickets to hang out kind of thing. You know how it goes. Yeah, man, got to do that, and he wasn't doing nothing. Like literally, it's like
pre-recorded,
and then he's just touching the little, you know what I mean? They play with the knobs like they're doing something, but they're not doing anything. It's all done already. So speaking of that, I know a DJ who DJs sometimes. I know a DJ who's in the mix every now and again. He's got soul. In fact, he's DJing the grip.
Yeah, he's gonna be in the grip.
DJ Protocol, like that fume.
Yep. All up in the grip. This man, it's gonna be going down. See, I'll be pushing buttons too, but when I push buttons, things will be happening like that. Okay, so just putting it out there. We'll be doing a lot of blending, a lot of cutting, a lot of mixing. It's going to be a good, fun time, man. It's going to be a good time. I miss DJing when it was fun. That's one thing that I did want to do, is I did want to tour overseas with DJing, because it seems like a completely, totally different experience as opposed to what it is here. Like here, especially being in the South, you gotta play the shit that people knows, right? Whatever's being played on the radio and on the hot mixtape, you better play it, or you're not a good DJ. It's like,
I think overseas they have a real connection with everyone over there.
Yeah,
it's like there's a real connection. Like I don't like when you play at the local spots, it's almost like family to them, because it's hard to only get in over there. You got to be brought in by somebody else in Europe. So that's what the thing is over there. But like in New York, DJs were everything. I mean, I know Jonah's mentioning like DJ AM and these guys. When I was going clubbing in New York, and I was going to the Tunnel on Sunday nights when Funkmaster Flex was spinning there, and that, I mean, that's where you had all these talents. You listen. We grew up around DJ Clue, you know, DJ First Class, all these big names back in the day. So those were the hip hop DJs, and then the house DJs. I mean, they became multi millionaires. Like we got to see Oscar G, Eric Morales, Roger Sanchez, the Gatecrasher crews, and you know what's that? I forgot the other guy's name, Timo Moss, and all these big names that came out of New York City, and these 4 or 5 clubs, and they were like family to us because we saw them every weekend, and you got to interact with them. It was such a crazy experience to see these DJs, and it's almost like we loved them. When you would hear those things, and then when you see them, everybody loved each other. We partied. It was like back in the day, there was no VIP. Like we all hung out and danced. There was no like you were considered a scrub. Like, what are you doing, you dork? You got a bottle? Yeah. Like we're on the dance floor, everybody's partying. You know, like what are you doing at the getting a bottle at the dance floor? Like we're trying to dance with bitches here. What are we doing? You know? And that changed completely. That changed like when Diddy started getting into the clubs, and that's when he started getting into started getting these big shows, and that's when everything started changing. And that's when you started like getting away from the DJs of being like literally like your friends, and they became like superstars.
Well, and the thing before was that vinyl, like to be a DJ meant you had to, it was an instrument. It was like a guitarist or, you know, whatever, a drummer. You had to understand how this equipment worked, and you had to make it work in real time on the fly, or you crashed the party. So it was like real deal stuff. And then you could just show up with your laptop and hit space bar because you did this stuff, you know, and messed up and cleaned it all up. So I remember, and hip hop, man, that was the thing. Remember, it was DJ so and so, DJ Jazzy Jeff. You know what I mean? DJ, Pete Rock and CL Smooth. Not them. I'm thinking. Who am I thinking of? Because which they were not bad at all. But DJ. The UTFO and the Furious 5, Get Fresh crew, DJ Get Fresh and the Fresh. I can't think. Anyway, Run DMC, my DJ. I'm just saying DJs were so important, and more important than the rapper back in the day. You know what I like? If you didn't have a legit DJ to work with you, you weren't a legit rapper. That was the
New York City. Funkmaster Flex was a god here in the 90s. If you had the big show on Hot 97, we released the new music. But if you went to a Funkmaster Flex show, it was like the biggest show. He would spin every week. Everybody was going over there, like to that show. It was nuts.
Shouts
Rock
out
him
to
in there.
Cam. What up, Jay?
Yeah.
Jay knew exactly what we were talking about. Jay in the building. Also, man, I got to give Iron Bull a shout out here, man. He's wanting us to let everybody know that Seaport Championship wrestling gear is out for, and it's going to be at Juneteenth, but I think you can get it right now, Iron Bull, if that is correct. And shout out to Jonah. Excuse me. Jonah asked, yes, have you ever got that one in the stockyard? I don't know what he's talking about.
No.
But it is Jonah, so...
No.
Loud Luxury is from there. Nope.
No. My answer is no.
Oh, on the stockyard stuff.
Yep.
So
yep.
yeah,
I got one from the yard on camp though. I got a couple from the yard on camp.
Heck yeah. Iron Bull, answer us the question in the chat real fast. Is the gear available now? Like if people wanted to buy now, is it available? Then and just doing that real fast. There.
Yes, it is. I'm gonna pull it up in a second.
Oh,
okay.
Jonah, if you're out in London, sorry, Jonah, if you're out in London, my cousin works with Faciendo. So if you ever see the Faciendo parties, that's my cousin's crew.
Oh yeah. Yes. Yes, the stuff is available now. My mic has fallen. I'm gonna everything. Anyway, what's that? Oh, dinosaurs aren't real. Let's get into some conspiracies. Oh,
send me a link, Bull. Send me a link.
Dinosaurs aren't real.
So is that what you're thinking? I've heard about it. I've heard that. But also it comes from, as the years are going around, like we thought dinosaurs were these big reptiles. Now they're just like chickens with feathers, big chickens with feathers. That's what's coming down to that. So like the timing of everything. And they told us that fossil fuels came from, bones of dinosaurs. And that's how we got fossil fuels, when it just looks like it's just something that's in our earth, oil, so the stories of Jonah would probably go deeper into this, what this conspiracy is, but I don't know. I don't know if dinosaurs are real. All I know is supposedly the bones that are in the museums aren't even the real bones. They're just put together in what would look like one. And the real bones are underneath the whole, where do they have that in Washington, D.C.? What's that famous, famous museum?
In D.C., Smithsonian?
The Smithsonian. Supposedly all the real bones are underneath the Smithsonian. They put away everything. So I don't know. What's your take on dinosaurs being real or not?
I'm so glad you asked. Let me hit you. Okay, so here's what we got. All right, so here's what we got on this dinosaur shiz. Okay, so one, dinosaurs weren't discovered till the 1800s because supposedly we weren't digging deep enough, right? However, think about the pyramids. Think about the deep, we have dug deep, we have terraformed and dug deep within the earth. Since the pyramids in Egypt and the pyramids in South America. So we've dug deep. If there were dinosaurs, we would have found them before. Now, we know there were Nephilim. We know there were giants. David fought one. That can't be there was just this weird group of 200 or 300 giants in the desert. Then we just wiped them out because fuck you. No. Okay. So we knew there are giants walking around. How did they get here? My man is talking about it. Fletcher, those Rockefellers decided that petroleum was fossil fuels. Yes, that's the whole thing on that. We'll get into that in a second. Let me break this down. So we didn't discover dinosaurs till then. We knew there were giant people. Okay, so before the written word, how did people communicate? Pictures, right? You picture hieroglyphs and pictures on the wall, that kind of thing there. Okay, so we go around the world. What are there pictures of in Asia, in Egypt, in Africa, in South America? Dragon, man head, winged body, right? Yeah. The phoenix, the griffin, all of this stuff. We have dog heads, human bodies. That's because what do humans do? There were aliens. We have pictures of things that look just like aliens that were here, and then they disappeared. Why? Because we tried to either eat it or fuck it, because that's what humans do with all life. If we can't eat it, we fuck it. If we can't fuck it, we eat it. If we can't fuck it or eat it, we just make it extinct. Think about that.
Fuck what they eat.
It is true, including humans, other humans.
Right.
Jeffrey Dahmer type shit.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's anyway. I'm sorry. Anyway, so dinosaurs are hiding giants. Yes, that's what the whole plan with the dinosaurs were, because they don't want us to know that there were, Nephilim, and there were humans banging aliens and other animals that created the dog faces that were the guards for the pyramids and things like that. Leroy in the house. Pew, 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 pew.
Yeah, I think they found giants in Nevada, right? They have a cave of the giants in Nevada, and then you have the red-haired giants out in China. And there's so many examples of it, you know.
Tons and tons of examples of these things. And that's the whole point of it, in my opinion, is that there weren't dinosaurs. There were giant humans that intermixed with either aliens that I believe come from the ocean. I really, really do. It's so crazy how we as humans love to talk about space, but yet over 70% of this entire planet we live on is uninhabitable by humans because they breathe in a completely different way. They exist in a completely different way. We know dolphins at one time were land creatures. We also know dolphins are as smart as humans and actually communicate in a language far more complex than us.
Yeah, absolutely. And also you had megafauna and, like, you know, the short-nosed bear up in Canada, which was like 8 feet tall. Then you had megafauna like the North American, the lion. That thing was like the size of 4 lions together. Like that was existed because we had, you know, bigger trees, more CO2. So most of the monsters, they were monsters, you know. They weren't really, but I wouldn't say dinosaurs, but they were a lot bigger than what they are today. And that does contribite to it. But you're absolutely right. So I don't know. I just, you know, it's so funny is my nephews love dinosaurs, and I feel like it's like when I crush Santa Claus for them, they're like, Santa Claus isn't real, and these dinosaurs,
Well, and I love dinosaurs, man. I was that kid, you know. One of my good friends wanted to be a paleontologist growing up. Like first big word I learned. I love dinosaurs too, but I was more the He-Man. I want to ride a dinosaur kind of thing, adventure. My name's Flipper. But that's the thing. We know for a fact that that there were giant animals, or it's one thing in history that we would take as fact if we looked. We have far less evidence of far more things in history that we accept. We have so much evidence of creatures that were human in form, or they had a human thing going on, but they were clearly other things too. Lions that flew, whatever the case.
Yeah.
But they want us to know about that because then they would have to talk about the communication that I firmly believe is still going on. The closest person to us that we could understand is probably Kanye. I think he talks to him. My boy posted on Facebook, he's like, if you could have one person talk to the aliens on the humans' behalf, who would it be? And I was like, well, Kanye already talks to him. So I think Elon already talks to him. So I think it's a thing. So yes, those retards are trying to read woolly mammoth.
Yeah, I did see that. They're trying to, the Minotaur. Yeah. What the story of Enoch says that these Minotaurs and the Hercules and all these different type of things were when the gods, the old gods, would sleep with humans and then create these Nephilim and these other types of human beings. That's from the book of Enoch, if I'm not mistaken. Like that's where all these like different types of demigods and everything came from.
Pro, you was about to talk?
Yeah, man. I was damn, I forgot what I was saying.
Leroy hit us with a Minotaur.
Yeah, man. It's just craziness. How people will believe Jesus walked on water, and turned water into wine.
What if he was like some Chris Angel type of guy? Jesus.
What if
he was a blind freak?
What if he was Clarence? Because the Book of Clarence was really good. I don't know if you guys saw the Book of Clarence yet.
I've been dying to see it. I haven't had a chance yet. I've been caught up in The Amazing Race. What little time
I yesterday.
It
awesome.
looks so good. Was it
good?
Oh, it was good. It was really good. So naturally, there was some woke moments where you were like, bro, really? Like, you didn't have to put that shit in there. But beyond the woke moments, it was good. It was a really good.
That's my problem with like TV and like movies. The minute I see something woke, I'm like, fuck, man, this is it for me. I'm out. I say I'm out right away. I'm like, I can't enjoy this anymore.
I just fight through it. I've gotten to the point where
it's like the new Godzilla show, right? There's like a real cool Godzilla show. It's cool.
Put a chick in it and make her gay.
No, but it's like you're in Japan and they got these old tapes that they gotta decipher these old tapes like VHS. They find the only black girl in Japan with dreadlocks that does all this. It's like, come on, you're not even being realistic now. It's not that it's like it's cool, but it's like it's Japan. Like we all know there's like two black people in Japan,
Right. And then you got You got the Japanese chick who, again, put a chick in it and make her gay. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? It's like I don't know. I don't
Yeah,
know
it's
any
like,
gay Asians. Where did
no,
this
man. If they
come
are,
from?
they throw them in the river.
You feel me?
Yeah.
Like, oh my God. That's all. Yeah, that was
The
wild,
whole
man. That
culture is
was
crazy. You'll even watch, like, I like watching Power. Like, it's one of my like guilty pleasures. It's like a soap opera, but
mm-hmm.
you got a gay scene for no reason. Like, you got a lesbian teenager scene for no reason. It's like it just turns you off. It's like I want to
Yeah.
enjoy the show, but now I feel uncomfortable. And like
I
even with
feel
Netflix,
uncomfortable.
if there's something on Netflix that has anything to do with teenagers and gay stuff, and like, even teenagers and any sexual scenes, right away I'm off it. It's like
Yeah.
you don't need to. I don't really, just if you're gonna have kids in it, you don't have to make them sexualized or anything like that. It's just it makes no sense to me, and it's like right away I don't want to watch it anymore.
Absolutely. Let me ask you before we get too deep into anything else. Reef, you're conservative, clear, or you have some definitely conservative viewpoints.
Yeah, I lean both ways. I kind of lean both ways. Conservative now more than I used to be. I mean, the new conservatives are the old liberals. So
Agreed.
used to be people used to call you liberal with the way we think. Well, leave me alone, not so much government. Let me do whatever I want with my kids. You do whatever you want with your kids. Now that's considered right leaning when it was originally left leaning. So we've gone full 360 now.
Agreed. It's there's an Instagram account called Classic Liberalism, and it's so funny because it has quotes, from early on and early liberal movements, and it's what we believe now. It's what we're saying now. And that's the thing, man. I was talking to somebody today actually, and I was telling them, I was like, here's where the problem comes in when I tell you what you should be doing behind your closed doors. That's
Yeah.
where the problem comes in.
Absolutely.
As long as you're not hurting nobody, you know what I mean? As long as you and your lady are agreeing to whatever you're doing, you know what I mean? And that's what you're doing, and you guys agree to the way you're raising your children, as long as no laws that we all agree on, like abuse, is going on, it's your life. You want to have a Christmas tree? Have a Christmas tree. You want to have a Kwanzaa setup? Have a Kwanzaa setup. You want to have a Ramadan celebration? Have it. I'm not here to judge that. You want to have no alcohol in your house and watch, nothing that leans liberal? Cool. I don't really. I'm me and my lady, we're really into like the Survivors and the Amazing Races and stuff.
I like Naked and Afraid. That's I like that.
And that's how I got started. That was my gateway drug into these shows. But what I like is there's no political agenda in these shows.
Yeah.
It's a little bit like, look at this gay couple, but it's that's about the most of it. And there are so many regular folks doing it that, and also, I'm like the way I think your history and the way HJ is history, I'm psychology. I'm Dr. Jordan Peterson. I've studied
I've read so many books on Carl Jung and like Falconelli, and like I'm a big historian in that type of like psychology, going deep into like the late 1800s and those, like that's where they first started seeing and studying human interaction and dreams and how people talk among like the herd interaction with each other, and that's where I'm really into it. Social sciences, if you will.
Yeah, exactly. And you have to do what we do, and especially to be a comedian on a much tighter sense, you have to be able to predict how people are going to behave on some level. You have to be like, okay, if I say this, they're going to say this, right? That's what we consider in comedy. That's a higher level of writing, is being able to go, if I say this, the crowd is going to do this, then I react this way. And the crowd thinks it's all just off the cuff and that I'm just talking and they're responding when this is exactly planned. However, the crowd has to behave in the way I need them to behave for this to go.
But just like a boxer, you got a plan B. If plan A don't work, you got a plan B and a plan C. You know which way to go once you have it planned out. If they give you then okay, I got to handle with a right hand now because the left hand didn't work.
Yeah, and if you're like, okay, so I'm short. Like I love Volk, right? I'm a little short. So let's see, what the hell is a Fucanelli and Ashanti? All right, I'm with you. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, as a shorter guy, the whole plan is to get in the inside, take their range away from them. If you keep me on the outside of your jab and I'm a short guy, I'm screwed, unless I can kick. In boxing, you can't kick. So I got to get up in there. I got to use those uppercuts. I got to focus on body shots. What's closest to me, right? I'm going to beat your body up. So whenever I come in and you're protecting your body, your head's wide, boom. And I'm going to, disguise the uppercut with a little bit of a jab up. And you're like, that ain't nothing. And then bow on the, dude, we can talk all day. You know exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That's where
Okay, so
Tyson got his movement. That's how he got in on you, from his side to side music movement, his ducking, his jab to the body. Just
yeah,
amazing to watch.
I watch old Tyson stuff just because there's nobody like that anymore. Francis and Ngannou. Did you see his fight with Fury?
Yeah, I thought he did great. I thought he won that fight.
I saw a lot of Tyson. Yeah, me too. Absolutely. And he did. He absolutely won that fight. Did you see? I saw so much Tyson because he's training with Tyson.
Yeah,
but I
saw a lot of feints. He went through one way,
Yeah.
stepped the other way. Like his like he feinted one way, but threw a punch directly across his body. Like those are beautiful disguised punches that he was able to do, and it threw Fury offline. Because Fury, you know, people that don't know, Tyson Fury is a magnificent boxer. I mean, probably one of the best heavyweights we've had in a long time. The way he moves, the way he never steps the same way twice. He never throws two of the same punches. I mean, you could tell he's getting a little old, but
yeah, that's what Wade said to Fanny. I'm gonna beat that body up, beat it up, beat it up, beat it up.
We're actually trying to get Travion on the show, on the Haram Life podcast. I know she's close with all this Fannie Willis stuff and everything.
Have you talked to her?
My friend talks to her all the time. My friend Legend talks to her all the time.
Okay, cool.
We're trying to get her. We'd love to get her on and get her perspective of all that. But we'll get into that later. We'll talk about boxing. You know, the Fannie Willis thing is very interesting too. I know everybody's beating it to death, but it's like such an interesting thing because it's so important to see the corruption that's going on blatantly in front of people's faces. And I don't think people are getting bored about it. They're like, oh, enough of this shit, but they don't realize how important it is. Like this is what's going on probably in every court, in every place in America. This is happening probably.
And it's like they just, you know, oh, well, they're going after Trump, so I'm going to let it slide. It's like, what?
The governor of New York today had to release a statement like, no, we're not going to go after you guys. Just this one time use. Like when in America has a precedent been set and they never went along with it afterwards? Like it never, once they set the precedent, it's over. But yeah, I start rambling on and on.
No, you're absolutely correct. No, we love it, man. We love it when folks cook. You know how it is, man, when you have guests on, you got to do the heavy lifting. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you're like, man, like you said, when people are like, oh, I don't know what to do. You know what I mean? I don't understand. So, you know, to have somebody like you who's not scared to cook and has a legit opinion, I appreciate that. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to look. Kevin O'Leary was talking about this, and he was saying Kevin O'Leary's been doing a great job of kind of breaking down the whole Trump thing.
Yeah, and he's not a Trump fan at all. He's a very outspoken, like he hates Trump. Like if you listen to him, not hates him, but he's not a fan at all of him.
No, and in fact, I think he's a what do you call it? He's a liberal. So you know what I mean. By the way, Jonah's talking about Alex Jones was controlled opposition to prevent talking about the AstraZeneca. Sure. I think it was called. I don't know. Do you guys know anything about what he's saying there?
I don't. You know, my opinion on Alex Jones before we go somewhere else is not that I don't think he's controlled up. I think he tried so hard to be accepted by the mainstream, and now that he is, he probably got the call saying, "You want this?" Because he loves the attention. He's been an attention whore his whole life. Now that he's got this newfound attention, they said to him, "You want to keep it? This is what you got to do." You know, because like I know now he's been posting all like the fight videos of like black kids beating white people up and like these recycled video clips. And like I don't get into that on my podcast because I'm not a type of person just complain about something and not have a solution or have somebody else we can talk about a solution because I feel like you're just bitching at that point. Then you're just complaining. And you know what I mean? Number one rule of being a man is don't be a bitch. And that's what it seems like when most of these people are like, oh, these black people are beating everybody up. So what's your solution? We kill them all? Like, where are you coming with this? Like, what do you? And most of the people that are complaining about it don't deal with black people at all. They don't have black friends. They don't not in a black circle. They're just seeing the videos and they're getting, they're the aunties clutching the purse like old, can you believe what's going on? It's like, stop bitching and find the solution or find a way to get the conversation rolling. Just being offended by something isn't good enough.
Agreed. Absolutely agreed.
Oh,
and
shit.
not only that, let me ask, what's wrong?
The grifting is real.
What's wrong?
National
What's going
Geographic
on?
documentary films the untold stories of the first black astronauts take flight in the space race film. Now streaming on Hulu and Disney Plus.
I like it. I like it. I realize I'm completely private on Facebook for some reason now, and they're not letting me go public. Sorry about that. I was like, I'm not getting any Facebook listeners, and usually I get several. So you know how they do. So sorry about that, but I will replay it. So if you guys are trying to find it on Facebook, come on over to Rumble or YouTube, and I will replay it. I don't know why it's set to completely private, other than they're messing with me. Facebook is straight up messing with me right now. I can't stream live on PTPOD, and they're not letting me go public here. I don't know what's going on. So all good, all good. Stream viewer.
Jonah was talking about
they're
atrazine. That's what he was talking about. It's atrazine, the chemical that turned the frogs gay. That's what Jonah was talking about.
Ah,
yeah.
I saw it. Ran progressive conservatives up here. Atrazine was turning the freaking frogs gay. Haram, thanks for providing my point. Posting right videos, controlled op. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And one thing Kevin O'Leary said, to kind of get back to that, which is why I was looking, and then the other issues we were having. Kevin O'Leary was talking about this, and he was saying that nobody's going to do business at all in New York. It's like, because everybody does it, and it's insane. Exactly. Why would you? Agreed.
Yeah.
There's no reason to want to do that. Yes, I am.
Do you remember if it was the black chick or the white dude he was talking to?
It was the black chick.
It was the black chick?
Yeah.
All right. I got it.
Fired up.
Yeah, man. Hit it.
Too fired up.
You're right, LS. I accidentally fought against reparations, and then was honest about how I'm pro reparations. And then they were like, "Oh no, we thought we had one, and then we didn't have one."
It's so funny. So you can say you're pro reparations, and then people will gasp again, and then you explain why. You'll make sense, and they'll still call you a fucking jerk off. So it doesn't matter. People, once people stand 10 toes down at an ideology, and even if you try to give them a little something, they don't budge at all. So it's like sometimes, most of the time, it's useless. That's why, like when you guys, like you guys, you're willing to talk, have the conversation, and sometimes the tough conversation. That's the type of people you should be looking for.
Absolutely. All right,
yeah, man, and you get it from both sides too. Yeah, we'll talk more about it. Hit it, dog.
Let's get it.
Wouldn't there be many companies who would not want to do business or loan money to people like yourself or investors if they know that they can get away with fraud and there's no recourse to protect them?
Excuse me, what fraud? This is not about Trump anymore. When you get a developer that builds a building and he says it's worth $400 million and he wants to borrow $200 million from a bank, which happens every day, everywhere on earth, including every American city. Every developer is an entrepreneur. They shine the light on their building and they say it's worth 400. The bank does its own due diligence, as was done in this case.
Oh, she don't like that.
Because they're very good at it. The banks are very good. And they say, no, it's worth 300. We're only going to loan you 150 million. That haggling has gone on for decades.
Fair use, fair use, fair use, fair use.
That's how it works. And then in this case, even the bank that was supposedly defrauded testified and said, we didn't lose anything. We want to do business with this guy again. We'd like to. But the judge said, no. Let's penalize this developer for $355 million. And if we're going to do that, let's penalize all the developers all across America. They've all done the same thing. All of them should go to jail, and we should stop building buildings. That's what the message is from New York. Even the governor herself is concerned about what this looks like to investors all around the world. It's not just U.S. domestic. All around the world, people are talking about what happened here. You really think people want to invest money in New York after this? How about we go somewhere else?
I think there are people who would. I don't want to cut you off.
Coming from a woman who's not investing anything in New York.
Not spending $1 any fucking
has no clue about anything in real. Talking to a man that's in real estate, spending billions of dollars, she's gonna give her opinion. This is what I mean, like,
because they're in her ear.
Yeah,
say it, bitch, say it. Interrupt them. Interrupt them.
You just did.
It's only because I want to have a conversation,
you know what?
Kevin, as opposed to just having you tell me.
Because you're a lawyer. You're a lawyer. You understand exactly what I'm talking about.
I gotta tell you, I'm respectable for a number of reasons, Kevin O'Leary, but being a lawyer is one.
Oh, wait, she got her fanny on.
Yeah, I got more. That was his nice way of saying "go fuck yourself," and I love that.
Yes. Yes. So
That
I
was
got
so
to take
great.
that back a little bit. I got to take this back. Roll that neck, girl. Let me see that neck roll.
For a number of reasons, Kevin O'Leary, but being a lawyer is one of those issues. But I'll tell you, when I hear your conversation, and I do want to converse with you about this point, I understand that there are legitimate concerns that were raised during the trial and will continue to be raised about who the quote unquote who is actually bringing the suit. It wasn't the banks who were saying that we as consumers or unsophisticated feel this way.
She's proven his
but
point.
Mr. James, the Attorney General, and I know you want to expand beyond Trump, has suggested, it's about making the playing field level for those who are not the major and billionaire investors, but for those who are supposed to
You
put
gotta be a billionaire to invest billions.
Get a loan. The idea of making sure that they have to have the same true statements included as those who have a lot more money. Is there any weight to that for you?
Well, I asked you who lost money, and I'll make it even clearer. You and I, we're developing a data center together, and I say to you, we can go to New York where this just happened. It's your money now. You're now an investor, and you're taking risk. You're an entrepreneur with me, right beside me. We're together on the deal. Or I can show you Oklahoma, North Dakota, West Virginia, where the governors actually ran businesses. Let's go there, where this never happened before. They have power. They have permits. They've got legislation that's supportive of entrepreneurship. Why would we go to New York? Why take the risk? My only point is, did we just diminish the great state of New York and the great people of New York? And shouldn't they ask for better management so they don't become a flyover state? Remember, New York has the highest taxes in the country, the worst regulatory environment, and it's incredibly mismanaged. And I'm pointing out now, on top of that, you get this insanity. A victimless crime, and forget about Trump. It's not about Trump. I don't care about Trump.
It wasn't even a crime.
I care about America.
That's the thing. There was no crime committed. Yep. There was a law changed to bang Trump, and then they had to come out and go, don't worry, we just will enforce this law against this guy. That's it.
The thing is, like me, when it comes to me, I'm not a big Trump fan. I've never was, I never been, because I knew a lot of people that got screwed over by Trump, my uncles and everything that worked for him back in the day. So we were never Trump fans, but this is crazy. This is crazy. This shouldn't be done. And now I'm leaning more towards voting for him because of all this shit. Like, this can't happen. And the fact that she's talking like, oh, us three right now, we're going to go together and build in New York. Like, bitch, you got to be a billionaire to be in New York. The playing field will never be even. There's no way. It doesn't matter. Plus, you're not going to get a bank to say, hey, okay, like, the real way to put it is, like, let's say you want to do a second mortgage on your house. You want to refinance your house. The bank is going to look at your house and say, okay, it's going to be worth our 10-year loan. By the 10th year, it's going to be worth this much. So you're going to get your loan for more than what your house is right now. They're not going to give you a loan and say, oh, we're going to give you this house at $200,000, and 10 years from now, it's going to still be $200,000. It's never going to happen. And that's what they're trying to say is going to happen in you. It's never going to happen. Banks won't give out the loan. Nobody's going to seek a loan. And it's setting a bad precedent. And it's going to get to, I have a feeling it's going to get overturned in the Supreme Court, but it's just not a good look. And then how they're going to spin it from there is just, I don't know, but it's just not a good look at all.
Talk to me. Okay, so something you guys have that we just don't in Oklahoma, Texas, Missouri, we don't have it in the Midwest, and I think they have it in LA or California. I lived there for a little while, but I know they did in Hawaii, in Honolulu, and that's rent control.
Yeah.
Right. So from what I hear, there are big developers that would love to come in and basically refurbish New York, put a fresh coat of paint on these buildings, redo the plumbing and all of that. But there are so many regulations, and then rent control. It's like, if I buy this building at the cost it is now, I'll go broke because it's rent controlled and I can't get money back out of it. Talk to us a little bit about that. May not understand that.
So a lot of your older buildings now, if they're able to knock down the building, they don't have to stay in their rent control places, and the rent stabilization is only like $100 to $200 from the actual rent that they have. They're only allowed to give you 50 or 100. I forgot the actual regulatory stuff. But if you're a regulator and you want to build, like, let's say where I live now in Jersey, you have to have 15% of your apartment building has to be Section 8 housing or rent or public subsidies or whatever. But it's a scheme because you can just make the rent whatever you want. Everybody who's not getting that rent control or that rent stabilization or that Section 8 housing has to pay enormous pricing. And meanwhile, the neighbor's paying, $1,000 for a $3,000 apartment. You know, so that's the thing, is they're able to jack it up because the government will pay them the taxes on it. So they're always making their money. So as far as the rent control, that's only done in very limited places with older buildings where they can grandfather in the leases and whatnot. But that's not happening as much as it used to be. Now the scheme is the Section 8 housing, where they're trying to make it 10%, jack up the rates for everybody else because they're going to get that from the government. So it doesn't matter who they move in. They don't care. And they pick the housing from a lottery now. So if you if you have kids, you make less than this amount of money, and you're a female, you can have like you're in this lottery and you have a better chance at getting into these like Section 8 housings now.
So they're incentivizing single mothership.
Correct. Yeah. Yep.
And
like I think like I pay around $2,600 for my apartment, and the lady next to me pays probably, she told me like $1,100 or something like that. So it's like, hey, listen, I'm all about saving them and helping them out, but you're jacking up our rent because you're getting this on the back end from the government. It's not even because this is what it's worth. It's because they know they can get that amount of money from the government. So that's what's jacking everybody else's rent up. It's a scheme.
Yeah, it is, and it's something that me and Pro have talked about, but more on a southern level. And I'd love for you to weigh in if you like. But the frustrating part is, and I've said this before, is that the rich aren't your enemy. The slightly richer than you are your enemy, right? So how do you get a spot in the tunnel? Jonah, if I do that...
I'm not allowed in there.
Fair enough. Yeah, it's the whole thing. Anyway, Jews and Muslims, it's a whole thing. Don't even get me started.
Forget it.
Anyway, the problem is that they attack the working person to provide for the poor. Correct. While somehow they figure out how to get richer off all of it. Correct.
Yeah, because it's like they make us fighting with each other, saying, oh, the Section 8 housing people, the lower income people. Meanwhile, we're middle class, we're providing for everybody, when the rich should be really taking care of it, or these people that are getting tax incentives for having their billion-dollar complexes and everything. Just like take across the street, we have a new mall that was built here, right? It was built on the backs, taxpayer money funded. It went bankrupt 3 times. It was called Xanadu. Now it's the American Dream Mall. It's right across the street from MetLife Stadium. And originally there was a tax funded by taxpayers. Everything was funded by tax. Went broke. Then the governor's brother bought it on pennies for the dollar after taxpayers funded it. It's like, we keep fitting the bill for this stuff. And it's like, and if you ask normal working class people, they don't mind helping out their fellow people that are in need. Nobody does. I don't think I've met anybody that says, fuck them. I don't give a fuck about them. Nobody that I know would say that. It's too much with nobody else helping, with like rent going up. But so is the busing and the transit and everything else is going up. So is food. So is everything else. So the middle class is getting so squeezed. They want to eliminate it altogether. And that's the real problem. We're not getting the help from the people that could help, like the billionaires. They get all the tax breaks. Even if you think about Trump, he's a great businessman, but he uses the tax code perfectly. He knows how to make those tax breaks. He knows how to get there. He's done everything. He's not done an illegal thing in his businesses. And he's been the most looked at president of the history of presidency. And they haven't found one crime yet on him.
And that's why I love migrants are getting the help. Yes, they are. In fact, I want to get into that in a second. But to cap your point real fast, this is why Dave Chappelle is a simple genius. He went out on SNL, of all things he could have done on all platforms. He goes on Saturday Night Live. I want to say the second year, I think Trump had been in office for 2 years at that point. And he hits him with he was like, remember the debate. And he goes out there and he says, I use the same rules you all use, and you're calling me a criminal. If you don't like these rules, change them. Yep. But you won't change them because you all built everything upon these rules. You made these rules. So quit coming after me, right? And this is interesting. I did not know you were, because I know you're a sensible guy. It's like me. You're probably a little more liberal than me on certain things, and that's fair. We all have our reasons. But being a Muslim, I believe that my Muslim brothers are going to be, like Christians are going to have to team up, right? If we want just a lifestyle where you're able to worship in the places of worship you choose, have the amount of babies you choose with your wife and live your life, which is what they're coming for all of us. And I've said this for a long time, because when I first stopped drinking, it was my Muslim brothers that allowed me to I got to hang out, smoke the shisha. Because, man, I miss watching football and the fights, but my homies are drunks. I love them, but they'll be the first one to be like, oh, yeah, we're drunks. You know what I mean? Like, we're going to kill a bottle during the game while we're drinking beer the whole time per person. You came with your own bottle and the beers were provided and, you're doing the shot beer. I mean, this is how we got down.
Yeah.
And when you quit drinking and it's that point, man, where you're hanging out and then like, I don't know, you're in the third quarter of the game or it's the fourth fight of the night and you say something and everybody looks at you and they're just like, we're not on the same level. You can tell you're just not where they're at and they're just not where you're at. And they just communicate differently. And that's all well and good. But my Muslim brothers were like, man, come smoke the shisha, come smoke the hashish. You know what I mean? They're like, we're going to blow your mind. And we got great food. And it was just cool, man. And I'm thankful for them because I probably would have just ended up drinking. You know what I mean? I would have been like, I don't have homies to kick it with. And to be a blonde-headed, blue-eyed Christian, and for those dudes to be like, man, whatever. And I have hardcore Christian friends that are like, I'll tell you this, man. If a Muslim man gives you his word, he will break before he breaks his word. And he's like, that's something that I can't say about a lot of Christians I know. I'm like, you're kind of right there, man. Is that if yeah, I did used to chug. Leroy, I'm gonna have a buddy on. We're gonna talk about had him on into last week's show, and I forgot this story.
Fun, man.
But Mike, crazy Mike. I forgot we did a show in Louisiana. I passed out on the bar. And then we went to an after party and the chick basically wasn't having me, probably because I was just a drunk, gross mess. And I ended up going somewhere. And I think they said they found me back at the bar and I was sleeping in the doorway of the bar. Like it was daylight because I was just drunk and I just ended up going somewhere with, I don't even know what happened, but they dropped me back at the bar because we couldn't find the after party again. And they were like, dude, remember we had to pull up and you were sleeping in like the doorway of the bar. And I'm like, yeah, man. And I headlined the show, got paid. I was supposed to be a rock star, but alcohol, right? I was not good with it. So
over the years, I'm Muslim, but I was definitely a drinker too. So now I get better with that too. That's like alcohol I try to stay away from. Now a glass of wine here and there, but like I'm a maniac. Once I start drinking, especially like the brown stuff, forget it. I'm off to the races.
Brown,
I'll start going nuts. That's why I just, I sit back, I relax and, smoking a little weed here and there. But, even now, I've been 4 weeks now with no weed after like a lifetime of smoking weed. And it's like, whoa, like having dreams all over the place. It's just like, it's really been a whole new experience. I've been smoking weed for such a long time now that I took this long break, it's like, now I'm just going to probably use it sparingly, not like I used to.
Man, that's my next one, man. Sorry, go pro. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say no. I was just saying, right, man. Like I used to smoke 3 to 4 a day, and now I'm lucky if I get through one a week.
Yeah, that's what I like to be, because nothing I loved more than going to the gym high. It was my favorite thing to smoke a joint and go into the gym, put on my headphones, and just have I just go bananas in there, like out of this world, spaced out, stoned to the gills, and that's what I love. But then I started doing it before work. Then after work, and I work in a very unsafe environment where I'm 30 feet up on a ladder. I shouldn't be smoking weed on that. You know what I mean? So it's like that's the downfalls of it. But you get used to a certain way, and then it's always like, I got to get more, got to be higher, got to do this, and you start then you have a wax pen. Now you're smoking the pen everywhere you go. Then you're seeing people you're high. You don't realize you're acting high because you think you're normal, and then that's the addiction. But like you said before, addiction.
Yeah, I figured out some kind of way to, I don't know. I never really got addicted. I was never an addictive person when it came to things, just I was addicted to anything. I probably was addicted to money and food.
Yeah.
I was addicted to spending the money.
Yeah. And I spend my money on like food and stuff, right? Like, we had this conversation, I want to say Sunday, right? I sit some money in the bank. I don't sit all money in the bank, right? I get up off money quickly because I feel like at any day it could go belly up, right? That dollar could not be worth crap, and I could be
leave it in the bank,
like Venezuela. You know what I'm saying?
Beating the bank is not put it in some crypto, put it in some stock, make that money work for itself. It's the best way to do it.
I put it in crypto, and then I put it in things that I could use, like I said, that I could use to make money, like the podcasting equipment, right? I literally bought me a podcasting setup that I can put in a case and carry it to wherever, So now I have people who's like, hey, do you do mobile podcasting setups? Sure do. What's up?
Yeah, what's up?
Like,
Yeah, let's do it. That's what
let's make it
Mike was
happen.
saying before. We can make it happen. And Leroy,
Yeah.
I was doing it up on a ladder. So,
So listen, listen, I don't even. First of all, I don't like ladders. So
yeah, you just get used to it. This is my 21st year in this union now, and you just get used to the heights and everything else. It's almost like second nature when you're up there. Like we go work on the big cooling towers, and you're walking overlooking the buildings and everything. You just get used to everything after a while. It's at first when I was young, I was like, holy shit, shaking. I'm like, what am I doing up here? What did I do with my life? And then it's like second nature, and you realize when you don't have the fear, you can move around so much easier.
Well,
it's the fear that gets you hurt.
Yeah, it is. It definitely is. And that's why I stay my fat ass, what I'm saying, grounded close to the ground. Because it's like, because in demolition, you have those times where it's like, all right, you got to get up there. I got to get up where? You got to get up there. Oh my God. Okay, let's get it done. But now I just we call them monkeys. I got some dudes who love being up in the air, who love climbing on stuff. Well,
that sounds racist.
Being that I pretty much only hire black people, it probably would be.
Yeah, we deal with a lot of the guys too in the commercial real estate where they come in and demolish because people that don't know, when people rent and the lease runs up, they got to demolish the whole floor and get it as it was in a commercial building before they rebuilt it. They got to have it, make it just stone, concrete, and the wires up top, and that's all you're allowed to have. So we deal with all demolition guys all the time, and those guys are nuts.
Yeah,
nuts.
I love my peoples, man.
Yeah. Nuts.
Especially kind of crazy to be a demo guy. You know what I mean?
You got to love smashing shit. You got to love having fun. I mean, those guys back in the day when the buildings were filled with asbestos, I mean, those guys really got hit hard because there was so much asbestos in New York City. Now, there's not too many buildings that have it left, but they would just smash it through things and asbestos was flying everywhere. And they got hit the hardest, most of those guys. I forgot what union they're called. Laborers? Are they the laborers union?
Yeah, they'd be laborers.
Yeah, laborers. Yeah, that's what they were.
I'm so glad that I live in a non-unionized state.
The thing is, like when you look in just the way it is in New York, when non-union workers do work, there is a huge difference between like electrical union work and non-union electrical work. It's a rat's nest when you look at non-union work, and they say like the welding guys, union guys, they do such great jobs. The plumbers do such great jobs. There's a huge difference between the two, but that's why they cost you so much. But it's mainly because when you do something union, you have to follow the code, and you don't really have to call those guys back right away. It's just they get a bad rep because just like any other brotherhood, you got to protect the retards.
Right.
There's a lot of fuck up guys. You got to protect them. We got them in our union, and we got to protect those guys, even though they make us look bad.
Yeah, although we're not unionized, they still like. Our code enforcement people, when it comes to the inspections and moving on, they're really on it. Like your receptacle can be off an inch, yo.
Yeah,
your receptacle can be off an inch, and they're like, nah, bro, you got to redo that.
Yeah,
you got to redo. What you mean? You got to redo that, but you got to redo it, like the whole redo it. Oh my gosh. Okay, so yeah, like. I respect that about them. It's just, and maybe it's because I'm a business owner. I'm just like, I don't want the headaches of having to deal with unions and union reps and all that other stuff.
Well, yeah, there's a big difference between the public unions and the private unions. Like we're private unions, and when you're dealing with a lot of money, it's a lot easier. These guys, the billionaires, they're able to hire the big union jobs and the big union markets. Private house-wise, there's no reason to hire a guy union if you're working locally in your houses and everything like that. Right. But for the bigger companies, they should hire because it keeps guys employed. It keeps a brand new batch of people coming in every year. So that's a good way to continue to have jobs in the union. And if the billionaires can afford it, let them keep doing. Let them get proper people coming in. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's very good that way. You get apprentices and you journeymen turn into master plumbers and constantly growing. And that's a good thing because you can take these billionaires and keep growing a certain amount of jobs every year. So that's the good part about the union.
What I noticed, so we do have we got a few unionized situations, like our longshoremen here that work on our ports. We have like one of the busiest ports on the Eastern Seaboard.
Those guys are tight too. Those longshoremen.
Man. I've witnessed. I was telling a dude, we was in Atlanta a couple of weeks ago, and he was like, Hey, you gonna join the 1414? No, fuck 1414. Oh, well, I'm like, hey, listen, I respect, the brothers that go and work on the ships, but there's some things that we can talk about later that I just don't agree with. He was like, well, what? I'm like, well, first of all, I don't like how when you're young and you're trying to get on, like I literally got to be pimped out by some old
Yeah,
person that's already there. It's like,
yeah.
oh, you want a job? Yeah, I'll put you on, but half your pay is coming to me. Wait, what?
Yeah, that doesn't happen anymore. That used to happen where you had to pay them and everything. But
Yeah.
too much, like the law's gone, law enforcement's got involved with that. You can't do that anymore.
They from what I understand, they still find a way to find a way to find a
Wow.
way. So, I mean,
Yeah.
that's with anything,
Yeah,
it's
there's
really hard
corruption
to
everywhere.
eradicate, right?
Yeah.
Corruption is gonna live. It's just gonna go deeper underground and move how they move. So, they'll probably do the whole Fannie Willis Wade thing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm gonna pay you this money, and you're gonna pay for my lavish trips.
Yeah, but you pay cash, so it's all right.
Pay cash. All right.
Think about how stupid you got to be. I know we're going off topic. Think about how stupid you got to be as a DA to be part of the biggest lawsuit probably in the history. You're trying to do a RICO charge on a former president with a bunch of defendants that don't even know each other. And you're trying to prosecute this, and you're going to fucking Belize, you're going to Aruba, you're flying with some guy you're banging who's married still, and you're doing all this thinking that you're never going to get caught. You should be impeached and get rid of just fucking stupidity, not anything else.
Why?
You
know why she felt this way? Ruby Freeman. Look what happened with Ruby and her daughter, right?
Yeah. Yep.
They did what they did. They didn't get in trouble. They circled the wagons around them, and Biden gave them, Medal of Freedom or whatever it was that they gave them. So
yeah,
if she's looking
corruption.
at this, she's like, shh. Oh, bet, bitch, I'm good.
Yeah,
I ain't getting in no trouble. I'm good. Like, I'm all right.
She told everybody, yeah, I pay cash. I don't have no receipts. And the crazy part about that is that guy Nate admitted to paying with his business card on everything, but then on the back end getting cash. So now you're double dipping. You're claiming all this stuff. Then you're getting whatever Fannie owed you in cash, but you already claimed it on taxes. He's double. That's another fraud violation. But like
that's called money laundering.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is.
Know a little bit about it. Boxing world, a little bit about it.
Yeah. Yep.
It's
so crazy.
Dana White said he was on an interview with Vivek the other day, and and he was asking him those cool questions that you might not know because you're just a fan, you forget to ask. But he was like, "So how did you get into it?" And he's like, "How did you become so successful?" And he's like, "Well, because we did it right." He's like, "Funny thing about boxing is that billions of dollars have been made, yet no one has any money ever. Everyone in boxing is always broke, even though they sell out arenas all over the world once a week, yet everybody's always broke." And, clearly that's the hustle. And he also said boxing is the only sport that requires government regulation during the thing, in the locker room, that kind of things. So,
well, who's that fighter from Japan? Inoue, is that who he is? He's like the top pound for pound fighter, the Japanese fighter. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. He's one of the top 5 pound for pound guys. I think it's Inoue, Innoe.
Yeah.
Everybody keeps saying, why doesn't he fight in America? This motherfucker's selling out $80,000 arenas in Japan and getting paid. Why would he come here and make nothing?
Yeah. Making things that make you go, absolutely. And I'm sorry we weaved it back around to boxing because of money laundering, but no, the Fannie thing was absolute money laundering. So the interesting thing is that you got a little bit of a liberal streak in you, which is exciting because I know you're cool to talk about this stuff because you hang out with the Hotep. How did you discover Hotep Jesus? First of all, let me ask you that.
I used to follow him on his Periscopes back in the day, like I think 2017, 2018. And then I just started listening to him. Yeah, I started listening to him talking. And then he used to have President Dubes on there. And, then I started listening to him and Uncle Hotep back early in the day. And then during the pandemic, he would live stream all this stuff and then just became like involved with it. And, the guy's a great guy. Even when you meet him in person, you see he came on my podcast very early. When he says he'll support the Hoteps first, he does do that. He's a man of his word. I mean, when you meet him in person, you see he's just not like these other celebrities that you meet. He spent time with everybody there. He'll talk to you. He'll listen to you. I mean, and then the community itself, like, Chad, Cannon Hotep and these guys, they're just all cool. It's like like-minded people. Like nobody's really a dick. Nobody's really like, I'm smarter than you or anything like that. Everybody gives you a chance to talk. With Hoteps and with anybody, you play yourself out. Who's ever fake, people see right through you because there's so many real people in that community. So right away, people will see right through you. So that's the greatest thing about it. If you're a fraud, you're going to be found out real quick.
I absolutely think one of the most brilliant things is it is naturally a home for the politically homeless. In that you can have a Jonah, you can have a Pro, you can have a Reef, you can have a Mike. And while we all agree on, I think, probably 3 or 4 main things, there's a lot of stuff we disagree on, right? That we could talk about all day and night. But that's not as important as, if I watch MSNBC, I have to be all of this. And if I watch Fox, I have to be all of this. Or, I'm crazy. And that was the thing you were talking about is, when I like this, you're getting, and this is why I love Pro. I didn't realize this about you, but I love this about you, and we deal with it all the time. And that is taking the hits from both sides. You know what I mean? If you try to make any kind of sense, if you're like, okay, well, you know what? I think homeschooling is the best option of all the options for educating a child. I will not disagree that is the best option. Okay, fair. Problem is, guess what? There are a lot of kids out there with parents that do not give a shit. No. You got a lot of kids out there that would gladly drop their kids off and never even see them again, save for how to, get money off them. So y'all are failing, not sniffing me out. Them, y'all are. That's Joe. I don't know if we want to sniff you, but okay. Yeah.
I don't call Biden. I got somebody. I'm gonna call Biden. He'll do it.
Yeah. Biden likes sniffing. But so, and that's my thing. Okay, we can spend all this time, effort, and money building a utopia of homeschool society, which at the point that they're then grouping together, it's no longer a homeschool situation, but we'll get into that later. Or not at all.
Eventually becomes like, if everybody homeschool, it becomes another public type
another school, exactly. But still, and yet, my question from the debate has still never been answered. And that is, okay, fair. And what we love to talk about are the walls and the 2,000-foot perimeter, but who are we building the walls against? Correct, who are we aiming the guns at, right? Yep. The children who didn't have parents that gave a fuck about them. Correct. The children who weren't able to have people care about them growing up. Yep. Those are the people. Where do you think Antifa gets their kids from? Where do you think these kids? I was one. I was a flaming, Che Guevara t-shirts. You know what I mean? I was I believed in socialism for a very long time. It wasn't until I got educated, I got wise. Thankfully for me, it cost me my career, but hey, I'm podcasting with you guys and we got a solid 7 people watching. So let's not.
Listen, that's 7 people that'll ride or die with us. That's all we need.
Is it, the same as having my own TV show in Vegas that I write and produce and star in? Yeah, it's the same. No difference. So all investments in kids are good. She says, I disagree. Even good parents are short on time, effort, and experience. I hear you. All investment in kids are good. Some, depends on what you're investing into them, which is something that we lost a long time ago. But and not to beat a dead horse, because I understand. I think that if you have good parents and you're cared about, you should, and you can, I think that you should be able to homeschool. However, the kids that are going to be destitute and looking to steal other people's stuff because they don't know how to create or be a productive kid, or the kids that were taught, if you have more than me, I should be able to take some of your shit, period. If you have more than me, I get to kick in your door and take some of it because it's not fair. Those kids are the ones we have to watch out against. But if they're educated and cared about, we'll have less of those kids to deal with. That was just my whole point, and I still hold that point to this day. There are kids right now who don't have the parents they need. Half the kids now are on drugs. I remember before, if one kid going to school my age, if one kid was on Ritalin or behavioral medication, it was a big deal. Oh, there's one kid
now it's common.
Now it's like, we need to put these kids on these drugs because they can't pay attention in class. And they're so fried from what I call the 2D world, screens on screens. They're being raised by screens. Have you tried to give anybody 7-Eleven or McDonald's cash or whatever?
Like crazy.
Yeah. Oh my God. You gave me a $20 bill at $17.37. I don't know what to do. Most places don't even take it anymore. And it's those things. We're not teaching the kids the skills they need. And we're not caring about the kids that have no one else. And I get that you care about your kids. Good for you. You should care about your kids. But there's a point where you're going to have to release them into the world. And who's there? Who's going to be left? The kids that had no funding, no care, no counseling, no coaching, none of that, because everybody was worried about their kid. And there's got to be a way, because I was that kid. You know, I grew up with no father. I grew up extremely poor. I grew up with no brothers or sisters. It was just me and my mom, who was busy. So if it weren't for the dudes, black and white, but because I grew up mainly in a black neighborhood, it was mainly black dudes. In fact, I saw one today. I had a business luncheon, and shout out to James Bryant. He was the first dude who put me in a studio. I was a gospel rapper for a very long time. You guys don't know this about me.
shit.
I had singles out. I was MC
Notorious
Mike.
G.O.D.
It was, yeah, MC Mike. I had cassette singles released. I had A-side, B-side cassettes. I toured. I did a whole thing. I opened for DC Talk, if you know who that is, back in the day. And so anyway, they were big. You can Google them. I think they were the first gospel platinum record sellers. They sold over 1 million records, you know, doing that.
The first gospel monsters guys I saw were Creed when I was like 17 years old. That was like my first. They were,
remember like Striper? Or
yeah. I remember they used to come around here. These guys, they were big.
To hell with the devil. Yeah. Anyway,
I used to listen to that music because where I worked, we would only get a certain number of channels, like from the radio. So I would listen to the gospel channel and listen to all those songs back in the day. It was pretty funny. Some good music came out of there too.
The Newsboys. Yeah, they're still around.
Yeah.
The Newsboys. One of the guys from DC Talk is now the lead singer of the Newsboys. So, yeah. Sent you all the info you need. Yes, we will drop some info, Iron Bull. Yeah, man. We're already on 2 hours almost, man.
Yeah. We didn't even cover UFC at all either.
We're going to have to wrap soon, but how much time you got?
I'm here, baby. I got nothing to do.
All right, cool, man. I love that. We'll go a little long. The vibe is good. Pro seems busy texting someone. It's all good. We don't want to stop his text conversation.
I'm all up in this thing.
He's playing Candy Crush over there.
You know what I'm saying? He's on level 78. We can't bother him. You know what I'm saying?
Crushing some dreams. That's all.
Crushing dreams and candy all at the same time. That's the name of my new record. Crushing dreams.
Pro, like being from Atlanta, what's the vibe over there with everything going on? I'm Savannah. But from Georgia, I meant from Georgia itself.
Okay, yeah.
Like, what's the vibe down there with everything that's going on?
Politically, or
just politically in general, what's going on with Trump and all that stuff?
So it's like it's two sides of it, right? You got the vote blue no matter who people, because we're black and we're supposed to be Democrat people, and they're just not letting up. And it's, oh, look at Fannie. Go Fannie. We gonna lock Trump up. He gonna get locked up. And then you got the other ones. You got the real ones who are like, really, nigga? Like y'all are literally about to let the justice, quote unquote, justice system get away with trying this man. This man ain't really did nothing. He can't speak. Are you looking at what they're saying in these indictments? Like, they're literally got him charged for a fucking tweet. For tweeting, go look at this on TV right now. He's being charged for that shit. What if a bitch came to you and charged you saying, yeah, you told someone to go look at something on a tweet? Like, you would want to fight. Do not stand behind this foolishness. Like, so you got the real ones who are like, nah, bro, we need Trump back. This is some foolishness. What are you doing? And then you got the stupid brainwashed vote blue no matter who's like, go Fannie, go. And honestly, I don't know which way it's going to go as far as the ground level is concerned there. I do know what people don't understand is that these Republicans, because we have a trifecta state, all right? We got the governor, we got the state Senate, we have the state House of Representatives. These Republicans are on their neck, hard body, and it's not going to work well for her, especially after finding out how they've been moving this money. All of these questions is going to fall into the hands of the attorney general.
You think it leads to a bigger investigation into everybody now?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I would think so. It's going to lead into a bigger investigation because too much has been laid out. Also, they kind of stepped on a winger, and I don't think they understand how bad they did that. So one of the things that kicked it off was Coffee County when there was some voting that happened there, and Some numbers got flopped. Some machines got tampered with.
No, I did see that. Yeah.
And then
And then
Trump's
one of the companies that
people-
was like paid off the people that are connected with them with the voting machine company or something like that. Yeah, I did read about that.
So now, you know, they went and looked at it, and that caused the issue to where, you know, Sidney Powell and them got in trouble.
Yeah,
and now the
bunch
Democrats
of bitches taking a plea deal.
Right. So guess
punks.
what? So guess what? It wasn't a plea deal. It wasn't like they play with semantics so
Oh yeah, it was
nasty.
just like admitting something, right?
It was a pre-trial diversion, right?
Yeah.
And then what they did, I mean, technically, what she did, it was the truth, right? She interfered with, you know, some political proceedings, some election proceedings.
Do you remember that time when everything was going down with these elections? It was like the QAnon. Oh, the military's involved, and they're coming in, and they got the satellites from like Russia looking down on us, and they have. That was a wild time to be around.
It was, and I tell everybody, I am a member of the 17 Army. I still go back and read drops. You know what I'm saying? And it's not. I'm not one of the JFK is still alive type people. Like I'm not that.
Well, a lot of good information came from the Anons. Like if you read those threads, you got some really good information from there.
Yes.
It's just that it was definitely, you know, alphabet agency
I think
infiltrated and whatnot. Yeah.
I think at some point it did get infiltrated. And this is what I tell people this, right? This is my own personal experience. I don't give a fuck about no one else's. This is me. This is me in September 2020, Atlanta, Georgia, Platinum Plan unveiling, right? I'm in the building. I'm with Trump. I'm with all the other influential Black people that was at the Platinum Plan. I'm standing at the front, right? At this point, me and my partner, me and him are both, you know, 17 heads. Both of us read the drops. We spitting information. I'm standing at the rails. Secret Service is literally arm's length away from me, right? Trump's on stage. Hey, we with you, Q plus. The man looks over and he winks.
No shit.
That's all I needed. You feel me? I don't give a fuck about nobody else. You feel me? They can feel how the fuck they want to feel. But when I say loud and clear, hey, we with you, Q plus, and this nigga looks over and winks. And he know, like, you can't tell me he doesn't know what Q plus is, right? That's just like when he's sitting there, you know what I'm saying? Like,
he's involved with all that shit. He knows his shit. That's one thing Trump knew, is he's involved with everything that people are talking about.
Everything. So I was like, all right, cool. That's it. I can tell where there was some infiltration. I always knew that, you know what I'm saying? Hey, listen, they're going to say certain things and they're going to say a lot of stuff. And it's just up to us to get the info. And there was nothing that wasn't attached to a breadcrumb that I could follow that I believed. If there was no attachment to a breadcrumb, if I couldn't follow it and connect it somewhere, I backed off it, right? That just wasn't for me because I couldn't link to what meant what. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't prove it, so I stayed away from it. But the things that I could prove, right? The Alex Halper, the Alexandria Chalupa, you know what I'm saying? The Ukraine stuff, the things that I could link. Oh yeah, all right, bet. But the extra stuff, hey, on this day we're going to start executing arrest and
that was getting a little wild. That stuff like that.
I was like, okay,
that's what threw everybody off. That was the thing that when people started going that route, and then you had people literally cosplaying as patriots. That was the crazy part.
Right.
They're pretending to be these like ultra MAGA people. Meanwhile, they're jerking off in their basements and their MAGA hats. You know, they're not really doing anything. You know,
that was my thing.
Wild time. Or like when they were talking like the military's coming in, there's an underground operation, and they're saving all these kids from child rapists and whatnot. It was like, what are you guys talking about?
Where did this come from? Where are you getting this info?
Well, and fair in theory, that was kind of the movie Sound of Freedom.
Yeah. Which was based on
They were spending millions of dollars under Trump, and the dude said Trump is the one who got it released, the money. And allowed us to go and chase these guys. So
the crazy part about the whole, before you go on, sorry, Mike, to interrupt you, about the whole Epstein thing and all these child trafficking things, the people involved of all that were the same people involved in Iran-Contra. It was the same players. the Barrs, the Boltons, the Pompeos, all these people were involved in the same thing you see with Epstein's thing. And that's all to lead into this fifth industrial revolution with the World Economic Forum and build. It's a deeper rabbit hole that people think. It's all built for that way, to have everything go into this technocratic society. That's what his real thing was Epstein. And of course, you know, all that, you know, he wanted people like embryos and clones of himself. All that shit was part of it. Yeah. But his thing was to take over the arts and take over the science. And that's what he wanted to do. And that's what it all started with. Iran-Contra. Same guys that ran that play, ran this Epstein play. And this is the same. You're seeing the death of that now slowly come out.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Sorry, Mike, what were you going to say? Interrupt?
No. Absolutely. Yeah. I didn't want to interrupt Pro there. I agree. I also think that a lot of it, I mean, you had Klaus Schwab come out just the other day and talk about alternative media as a problem.
Of course.
So I truly believe that
we're the devil.
All, yeah. At the point that Klaus Schwab says that, which I'm very glad we are a problem to him, we've been infiltrated already. There are some people out there. I think HJ said it the other day when he was like, how many people do you think are fed on here? And I'm like, well, you just move as no one talks about the DNA databases, right? That's where supposedly. So theoretically.
But I have a theory that I think 90% of content creators are Alphabet Agency assets, but only 10% actually know that they are.
Well, pay me then.
Yeah,
CIA,
tell me what's up, bro. I'll push anything, bro. I'll push vaccines, whatever you need, bro. I got you. I
swear right now, y'all need some controlled opposition, and I'm opposition, so control me, all right? With a big fat check. I need $250K to get started. You know, you write me a check for $250K and say, let's have a meeting. That'll get me there. That'll get me to the meeting, and that's all we need. Because once you have me, you're winning. I'm that dude. So ask Hotep Jesus. So, speaking of Hotep Jesus and all of that, I wanted to get your opinion on something that was just today that would be fun to talk about. Let's see here. It's called a signature reduction. We're going to have to get into that probably in a second because I'm interested. But did both of you guys listen to the show today?
Yes, I did.
I
saw Pro get into it in the comments too. I saw Pro.
Yeah. I got.
There was a lot of trolls in there because of Rolo, because he fights with all these other accounts. They come follow him and they troll this account purposely because they're into Pearly. Pearly has a big online army and people don't realize that. Huge online army.
Yeah, I was in. I came after the phone call. I said that after tonight's show, I would go back and listen to the phone call part of the show. I did.
Yeah.
So I don't understand the Burley. Speaking of inserts, speaking of people that are, she's not good to look at. She's harsh to look at. She's not intelligent with her points to the point. As soon as she's pressed, she's like, I don't know. Like I could see if it was one or the other.
See, she's able to deliver the harsh reality to women and get away with it because she's a woman. That's where her appeal is. Like she can call a woman a whore and be like, well, yeah, you guys are being whore. And it doesn't look as if Myron or Fresh and Fit are saying it because it's a woman saying it. So that's the appeal of Fresh and Fit. For us mature people to watch the show like Fresh and Fit and be like, this is corny. This is childish. Even though listen, I was a guy that was single for a long time. There is women that if you watch Fresh and Fit, that's how they are in Miami. That's how they act. Yeah. They want a guy that makes $5K, $500,000 a year. They want guys like this. This is real women. They really act like that. The problem is the way they respond is kind of like super feminine. Like real men don't talk to women like that. Real men, we don't even really have conversations with women when we disagree with them because you never argue with a woman. You're never going to win. Like going back and forth with a woman is one of the most pointless things you can do. It doesn't make sense.
I do it for practice because I figure if I can argue, if I can look, and of all women, a wife, you know what I'm saying? A significant other
that lives, you know,
if you can argue with that woman like effectively and not it be drag out, but you can have legit points on politics and even stuff like that. If you can argue with her and get close to winning, you know you're a beast in the real world. You know you're killing it.
Absolutely. And when it goes back to Pearly, the thing is with her, she's got a lot of money, and we know your podcast is only as good as your production, right? So if you have top producers on there, story writers, and everything else, this is what she has available to her. So the content, if you watch her content, is not bad. Like it's very well produced. You know,
who put her on?
Her father got a lot of money. Put her on. She comes from wealth. She comes from a lot of money. So that's the thing. Like we look at her like this is crazy, but the way it's introduced with the shorts, with the clips, with the interviews, she's got big people on. She was nobody and had Andrew Tate on. You know what I mean? With what's her name? The whore, the chick that banged all the basketball players. It was Andrew Tate and her on the same podcast together. I forgot the girl's name. Yeah, they were. She had that guy on with like only 2 months into doing stuff, and she had the clips and the great production. And that's what happens. Is she's put on by, and she was able to get and listen to a woman talk to other women. Most men want to listen to that. They're like, oh, that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking. And she was able to do that. So it's just, the red pill is good
and not easy. I mean, okay, fair enough. But we got Candace, we got Klasick, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there are better looking, smarter women, in my opinion, in a world where your looks and your intelligence are the two things we trade on here, right? So dropped a link in Insta PTPOD. All right, I will check it out. But that's the thing. In our business, you're sharp, your looks and your intelligence, that's your currency here. And a little bit of your experience. But they hate that because when you can negotiate and demand more money, and they know there's always somebody wet behind the ears willing to do it for cheaper. So, but
think about it. That craziness, the words that's what sells. People want to see people get offended. We live in such a shitty society that people want to see girls being called whores. Like it's like, yeah, go say it, and they love it. It's like it's fucked up, but it's true. Like it's not my thing that I listen to, and don't get me wrong. There's times where I've listened to shows like Fresh and Fit and be entertained by them, but I can't sit there and give them money and or like support them and say I like what you're doing. It's just good for a clip. Like this is what they said. That's pretty funny, but like. I don't see. I see incels probably really liking that and going into it, but it's still necessary. Like the red pill is necessary. These podcasts that you had, like I followed Kevin Samuels back in the day. It was necessary because he showed you what some women really think. A lot of women are delusional. I'm sorry to women listening out there, but they're delusional. A lot of women think they deserve certain things when they don't have anything to offer. And it's a lot of the women. Well, I live in New York, so the women here are so entitled. It's crazy. It's insane. It's insane. I mean, the things that I was told, like, I need this, I need this, I need this. And like Patrice O'Neill had this one bit where he was like, you want to be the CEO of my company, but you don't even know how to do basic office work. You're not even in charge of paper clips yet. And you want to be the CEO, So it's like the same thing. Like they want to take half of everything, but they don't know how to do anything. They don't know how to write a note, and that's what you're seeing. And that helps bring out and see the red pill is nice, but you can listen to guys like the Haram Life podcast, Hotep Jesus, you guys, and see how to deal with the real way to deal with women, real day with real life scenarios instead of pretending to be some macho bravado shit, calling women whores and banging everything that walks. That's not the way to do it.
Yeah, that actually leaves you empty as much as drugs. The trust, it leaves you just as empty. Because what happens is it's that chase, that dopamine release, and then the next morning it's not. You know what I mean? And just like that chick can never be enough because she's not a bunch of chicks, and you are addicted to the next chase, the next get down.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, and it leaves you empty. It really. I see these dudes that the pickup game world moved on to more of a testosterone based than the attraction based, and the game moved on, and these guys are still trying to do their thing. And of course, a lot of them have pivoted into life coaching. You're absolutely right, man. You can only sell a drug. You can only get high off your own supply for so long before people are like, well, if that's what that does, I want no parts of it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
To wind back around, I work with a lot of different businesses in my business for the day gig. And I was just speaking to a woman and her husband today that own a small electrician company, speak of that. And they were going, the hardest thing to find is female electricians. They get requested, they get asked for. And another guy who has like a plumbing school. And it was actually everybody together for a meeting for these two schools that take in either homeless folks or underprivileged children, and they teach them trade craft. Because with very specifically trade craft. Because that's the thing, like that South Park, if you saw it, where they had the attorneys from the colleges get it outside of Home Depot, right? They put a chicken in and make it gay one. But it was we're teaching them trades because a plumber can make good money, a couple $100,000 a year. That's not bad money. It really not. And he gets to set his schedule. That's what people don't realize. Excuse me. If I'm a good plumber and I'm known, I can tell you no. I'm a mediocre producer and I tell people no.
Yeah, no, it's true. Yep.
So an average comedian, and I tell people no. So but what I wanted to ask about, if you heard, and it's tricky, but and so I'm not going to say anybody's name because I'm not coming after anybody, or especially their wife, because I know how that is with me. If you bring up my wife, well, now we're just fucking fighting. There's just no.
Yeah.
I made a promise before God and our families, my mother and her family, in a church before the most important thing in my world. Look, we all got our things. The most important thing in my world, I made a promise to protect and make sure, her respect and her character. So
Absolutely.
I understand that. So I'm not going to mention any names. It just so happens that the drop he played was somebody who's in the gang. You know what I mean? And it's that man's wife. But what she said was very important, and I agreed with pretty much all of it. Did you guys get to hear that drop that he did there?
No.
No.
The rage.
Yeah.
I did. Yes. Yeah.
So here's my question. What she said in that drop was powerful, relevant, important, right?
Mm-hmm.
What if Charlie Kirk said it?
Well, I think it was covered. He don't I think you guys are saying the same thing. He don't give a fuck about black people. That's the problem.
Yeah.
And that's the real. He's a serious. But you see, you can't. The context comes with the character, right? So
Right.
that's so you have to take the context from the character itself. That guy's a grifter. So if he says it, even if he's talking about, let's say, Albanians and he eats up, that guy's a grifter. I can't take that guy seriously because I know he don't give a shit about anything. I don't know if he's saying it because it's come from the heart or he's just trying to get some heads to turn,
See, I take it from you, Mike, right?
Well, I would never
take
say
it from I know you wouldn't, but I take it because see, I know that you had a close friend that was black growing up. I know that you experienced some black experiences growing up. So at least like from you, it's like, well, this little motherfucker got some experience. So I can take it from him because he at least knows some of it. He didn't live black, but God damn it, he was dirty, motherfucker. So it may have been a time where he may have been, treated as a black. You know what I'm saying? You was the lowly white dude that was down there with the black trash. So, like you could, it would be understandable from you as opposed to this lily white Charlie Kirk motherfucker who, as stated, he doesn't give a fuck about us. He's never had a true black friend. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't even treat Candace as a true black friend. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's completely different coming from him as opposed to this woman who is in the fight, right? And the thing is that she's in the fight, and it resonated with me what she said because I'm the motherfucker who works hard day and night trying to get us to understand a better way, and just for some strange reason we as a whole won't do the better thing. We just do the stupid shit. We fall for the stupid shit. We push the stupid shit. And then we're just over here like, bro, I do not wake up every day to fight for us to be better, for you to do this stupid shit. Right? That's where the difference is. Like her legit fight is to make sure we do better.
Yeah.
That's not Charlie Kirk's fight. You know what I'm saying? Just like, Bros was mentioning how I was getting into it in the comments with someone about the situation. And he's like, you don't know Charlie Kirk. Bitch, you don't know who I know. You don't know what I do. You know what I mean? Like, I'm literally sitting in a position where we're being trained by TPUSA, right? Trained by TPUSA to come in and get more votes in my city. I'm in a 59% black city, and their target isn't even the black people in the city. You know what I'm saying? And the city is completely black in the most part. And your focus isn't even what do we need to do to get to approach these black people? What do we need to do to get them to vote our way? That's not even their mindset. So if I'm seeing this isn't their mindset, little dumbass, you're not finna tell me that, oh yeah, how do you know that Charlie Kirk doesn't care about black people? Bitch, I'm sitting at the table. Oh, you're not sitting at the table. You went to a TPUSA. You know what? Guess what? Shut the fuck up, because shut the fuck up. That's it.
But it was also like the way he approached it was that passive aggressiveness. Well, I'm just coming from my side. Like, yo, stand 10 toes down if you're going to say something. That's it. You say something, stand 10 toes down, stick with it. Don't say, well, don't get me. I'm just saying this. No, you started the conversation. Then the responses were like, well, I guess I'm not as smart as the Hoteps. You know what I mean? It's like, no, nobody's saying you're smart here. If you say something, stand 10 toes down. You can call and make your fucking case. That's it. Anybody could, you know?
That's it. I'm just
I agree
from inside. Go ahead, bros.
Yeah, I didn't get to hear many of the phone calls because today was one of those. I listened to her and I listened to him speak it. I saw some stuff in the chat. I did hear Strong Dad call in and powerful words, but I also, man, I I think this speaks to something deeper. And you know me, I'm trying to, for lack of a better term, I'm trying to represent the red-white voice in a safe space where I can go, I don't always agree with them, but if we're going to lean conservative on some things, if we're going to try to work within the conservative structure, whether it be Trump, Republican, whatever, there are some things we got to deal with red whites. And I know because I live with them. You know what I mean? I live around them and amongst them. I'm in the reddest state in the union. Like, look it up. I am in the reddest state in the union. And another thing, side note about the infiltration we were saying about how you're like, I'm dealing with TPUSA out here trying to get people to vote, not even thinking about black folks. They just gave a bunch of money to Chaya Raychick, the Libs of TikTok chick, to run Oklahoma public school libraries, excuse me. This chick who lives in New York, who I don't even know if she's ever been to this state, is running our what is her qualifications for that? That's an infiltration, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
Like TP, that's an infiltration. So, but the deeper issue I think that red whites have is, it's like, okay, well, black people have been able to criticize us, the way we move, the way we have our political things. Teachers are pissed. She said that about this. Yeah, teachers are pissed about that. So she is one, so she knows. But it's like, okay, black people have been able to criticize us, from our music to our food to the way we dance to to our religion to our politics. To all of that, black folks have been able to criticize us to the point of you can go on Twitter and say, kill white power. And if a white person says white pride or white power or proud of my background in history, you are considered a supremacist and a racist and an extremist. And not only that, but the entire public mechanism, whether it be social media, regular media, whatever the case, is kind of set up to exclude you or ostracize you, right? And this is something we're going to be getting into deeper on Sunday night. But the thing there is, whether I care or not, is what I'm saying less true? Is my character dependent upon me speaking the truth? So, yes, I actually think Charlie Kirk is a low-key racist, straight up. I mean, white folk know. You know what I mean? You know those white folks you get around and you're like, oh, they're not cool. Yeah. Like, they don't understand, or they just think that these other people aren't as good as them in some weird way. And so there's that. And, so that's Charlie Kirk. But what is the response to, okay, you don't care about black folks, so you're not allowed to criticize them or to speak out against the ills you see in that community. And then you go, but you're black folks and you don't care about white folks to the extent of you don't want them anywhere in your life, but you feel like it's totally okay to criticize them. I'm not saying I'm seeing it. I'm not saying I'm right here. I'm saying that is the argument I'm dealing with. And I guarantee you that's how most whites feel, right? Most red whites are like, most red whites I know that I would talk to this about go, I'm not racist at all. I don't hate black people. I hate the fact that black people hate me. I hate the fact that I would never hurt a black person. I work with black people. I drink with black people at the bar. You know what I mean? They're in my softball league. I don't hate black people at all. I'm just trying to feed my family. And as we know, most people are just white knuckling it through life, man. As concerned as we think everybody is about us, that's one thing you learn in the 12-step program is most people don't give a fuck about you, man.
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
They're all just trying to feed their damn family and enjoy themselves, and get through this crazy shit. So they're not just. HJ said the other day, he's like, my problem with coming up as a black supremacist is I was taught that white people just go home, close their door, and scream N-word. And it's like, no, how white people use N-word behind closed doors? Like black people use N-word. You know what I'm saying? We're singing along to our favorite Jay-Z song. You know what I mean? We're telling our favorite joke by our favorite comedian, which most of them are the best comedians in the world are black. And that come at me with that one. I'll fight you and win, right? But they use the N-word a lot. So if I'm telling that joke, or remember when he said this joke and he was like this, blah, blah, blah over here, said blah, blah, blah. You don't go N-word. You just, you know what I mean? Because you know no one's going to accuse you of being evil or racist a lot of the time. I say ninja. I just learned to switch it out with ninja because I never want to get caught slipping. So don't get caught slipping, as they say. So I say ninja now. But that's the thing. It's not like it's a racist thing there. Okay. So the idea that white people all shut their doors and scream N-word and plot against black folks is just simply not true. Leaving that one there. So the question is, if black folks who do not like white people, do not care about white people, or actually have a healthy hatred for white folks, are allowed to say that and implicitly express that, and then criticize white culture and what they're doing wrong, why are white people not allowed to do that to any other race?
The 60s.
Okay,
And the
I wasn't
50s.
around. I wasn't born in that. I'm fair.
Yeah, I understand, but it's like because we have a lot of red whites who are like, "Oh, that was then. Stop bringing it up." Like, my dad was
one
born
parent
in
ago. Yeah, it was one parent
no,
ago.
my dad.
Yeah.
My dad was born in 48. My mom was born in 60. It's like, screw you. That's in my household. Like, you can't tell me that was that long ago, but that's where they go with that. So because they go there with it, black people have a resentment. If I promise you, it would be a completely different reaction if they were like, nah, that I'm not going to go with it. That was so long ago. Get over it narrative. I'm going to actually treat it like there's some unresolved trauma here that you probably dealt with in your household in some shape, form, fashionable way. And because they don't approach it in that manner, this is why this is this way. Like we could say all the, it was like HJ said today, right? Black folk are talking all this shit about what to do to white people on the white man's app. You know what I'm saying? Like they're literally listening to it. Like it's not gonna go far with that. However, these white people who dads, uncles, cousins, like we say, he was one parent removed, right? Probably was right there in the household with the foolishness. Like, especially a lot of these older red whites was in the household with the foolishness of, cross burnings or whatever the case may be. Because I don't think many of the red whites that we deal with now were the abolitionists, right?
No.
I don't think they were the people who were trying to stop slavery from happening. I don't truly believe that.
But like, even just think about, like, I understand what Mike was saying. Like my family came from communist Albania. Literally, people were indentured servants over there. We have Albania is so corrupted with crime right now because they removed the fathers away. There's a bunch of people who were raised by no parents because they killed them all, or they threw them in jail and they became political prisoners over there. So it's the same thing. So when somebody comes here and tells me, "Well, you're a white privilege," I'm like, I grew up in a 1-bedroom, family in Brooklyn. Like, that's where I grew up. Like, what privilege did I have? I worked my whole life since I'm 15 years old. And for someone to tell me, well, you have a privilege, I can see where people get the animosity from. To me, I don't take it to me because I've gone away with a lot of crimes because of my white privilege. I'm not going to lie. I did some things that if it happened to a black man, he'd probably be in jail, And because the cop looked at me and said, "Oh, you're a white boy, no problem. Here you go. We'll give you a slap on the wrist." It does happen. But I see how people get offended saying, "I don't understand the white privilege," because there's just as many poor black people as there are. There's a lot more poor trailer park white men out there, and they feel like, "Oh man, where's my privilege? I'm suffering in the trailer parks,"
And that's because we're going to get deeper into this on Sunday, but just to kind of leave it, I've talked to Pro about this off air. I don't know if I've ever expressed it in this way on air, but to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, basically we're getting a lot more minorities that are willing to be more conservative, or always have been conservative, but thought that no one was going to kick in their door because this is America and you can be whatever you want to be, supposedly, right? Yep. And black folks are like, okay, in a larger number than ever before, are like, okay, the Democratic Party has screwed us over. They promised us a bunch of things. They supposedly got a lot of money for us, yet we're no better than we were when they got in, when Obama got in. right? That was supposed to be the game changer. And tons more money supposedly went to us, but no, it stays in the government, and clearly it doesn't filter down. Look, you know what I mean? In fact, the poorest of the poor are struggling the most right now. So we've decided to come over here, and if you're willing to acknowledge us, we're willing to work with you and put some Republicans in power to protect our rights in the way we want to live. But you're going to have to acknowledge us on where we stand. Something Sonny, I think, does well. A lot of stuff I'm not, a huge fan of. Love her, can't wait to meet her. But yeah, there is a lot of stuff that we need to acknowledge and go, okay, man, you know what? There was a lot of horrible things, and I see that, and I understand that, and I respect that. And then for me, it was, and what's funny is I mentioned it on the HJ show a couple of weeks back, and then he mentioned it, I want to say last week, is the demoralization campaign that now you see happening with whites. And it's funny because whenever I want to go on a rant about what they're doing with whites, I'm like, oh yeah, black people are like, remember the 60s, remember the 70s. Oh, and now you can watch a show on Netflix. And HJ didn't even break it down as deep as it could have been, because he was like, they were having a Mandingo fight at a party and it was cool. And I was like, yeah, but in that Mandingo fight, the one black dude in that fight got beat by the white boy, which once again, you can see maybe he's like, because he's the leader of the team. It's like the A-team, Reef. It's called Obliterated. And it's like the A-team. And there's the cool white boy, the big B.A. Baracus, big muscle black dude. And there's a chick who's like the behind the scenes chick who runs it all. And so he gets taken out by the white boy, and you're like, okay, maybe that's believable because maybe the white boy's like a fighter, you know what I mean? And he knows secret things. Then the 98-pound white chick gets up, and then she beats him up.
Yeah,
takes him out.
Impossible. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a joke.
Yeah, it's a joke.
Sorry. But then 15 minutes later, he's getting, head from another dude. And
he
so it's like
the man right away. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. First 30 minutes of an 8-episode run, the first 30 minutes, we established this dude is completely cucked.
Yeah.
That's that demoralization campaign. And me and Pro talked about it. Would have been a much more, and you have to write this shit in. This shit doesn't appear in the script. They're not accidentally filming these scenes. This is all well planned out and filmed over and over again and rehearsed over and over. So
and think about the straight man that's agreeing to do that too. Like,
yeah, well, but if you're liberal and you're an actor, it's a good role, man. He probably got
a lot
of money, and he's an actor, and you're taking.
Listen, I'll sell out quick, but you can't pay me enough to do something like that.
No, exactly. Yeah, no, I had a comedy show. Yeah, you might not know this, Reef, but me and we were working. Fox was interested, FX network, and I accidentally said I wasn't going to vote for Hillary Clinton. That was it. I didn't say I was voting for Trump at the time, but basically, Always Sunny in Philadelphia. We were going to do a show like that based in Vegas, right? Like just outside of Vegas. And it was going to be that. And I was going to be the Charlie Day character. And we were doing that was why I moved back to the mainland from Hawaii and LA and stopped touring the first time. And yeah. And then,
Mike, we got to write our own show, bro. Let's do it.
Oh yeah. Doing it. Doing it. I love that. So, so you have to acknowledge, but just to hit the point, you have to acknowledge that bad things have been done to black folks. And then it's like, yeah, but white things, bad things have been done to white people. Sure. Okay. But let's acknowledge this group of folks and what they've dealt with. Just like the Armenians are doing a great job in America. Look at the Indians. Look at the, when Mexicans are just taking over or Latinos are taking over. But we have to respect this group because they are a powerful group. We have, dollar out of 15 cents, that old saying that comes from the record companies, right? And what's funny is if you know record deals, it's like, you got 15 cents on the dollar? How did you negotiate that? That's a great deal.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But we've from hip hop to comedy, it's like, okay, we've paid these folks 8 cents on the dollar. You know what I mean? 15 cents on the dollar on a good thing for a whole industry they've created, from hip hop to whatever the case, taking comedy to the level that it's on now, which Eddie Murphy did that, and a couple of people before him. But anyway, so you have to acknowledge those things. I really believe that. But I also believe that there needs to be a deeper discussion. We'll get into it. But there needs to be a deeper discussion, I think, because I think there's a point where. So I want to end with this, Reef. You might vote for Trump. I think this is a great way to end it.
Yeah,
unless Pro.
I think I'm going to lean that way.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
right now there's nobody else. I can't vote for Biden. I voted for Kanye last time, so I wrote in Kanye in my ballot because I couldn't get myself to vote for anybody at that point. It's just that, Trump did have a good economy, but his past is filled with a lot of criminal activity, with a lot of screwing over a lot of people back in the day. You know, a lot of the promises he made, he didn't follow up on, maybe because he was hampered in his first administration. And a lot of people, they sabotaged a lot of it, but a lot of it was all rhetoric. Nothing really done. He gave a lot of money to the top, 1% of people in the world during the pandemic. He's the one who pushed the jabs. Don't give me this bullshit. I didn't push mandates. He pushed the jabs. He knew he had the same information everybody else had. He made Fauci the scapegoat about it. And that's the whole thing that's my gripe with him. Like, and I think it's disingenuous to say, well, that's because he had this and that. The man was in charge. The buck stops with the guy in charge. And there's certain things that I can't get over. Like the biggest transfer of wealth ever happened under his administration. All the lockdowns and everything happened under his administration, and all that stuff happened under his administration. And yes, he had some good things, stimulus checks and everything else. But the reason why you're seeing a lot of the inflation now is because of those stimulus checks. People want to put everything on Biden, but that's not the way it works. That's not the way economics work. It doesn't happen right away. This happened because of this big stimulus grants. And the vaccine is a big thing for me. And I know a lot of people getting hurt by him now. And the fact that he's still pushing and touting it, I did this and that. That's great. But you circumvented a lot of laws in place to get that vaccine. And now it's a precedent for other vaccines that are going to happen in the future. They're not going to be regulated. Operation Warp Speed wasn't just about this vaccine. If you look into the paperwork, it has a lot to do with the future therapeutics that are coming out. And I don't really think people take too much into account of that. But with that being said and done, things were better under there. I think he's got a better shot at building that gap that you said, that we can have a conversation with blacks and whites. And I think he's the man for that job. So I think people are realizing that who you vote for president is a lot bigger deal than what we thought. We thought, who cares? Locally, people should know voting locally makes a lot bigger difference than anything you can vote for in a national election. 100%. But you're starting to see now.
Just real fast, Fanny's a perfect example of that.
Correct.
I think, only people really in her county voted for her, I think, right? Or is she on a state
county of Fulton? Nope. Only in the county of Fulton.
And they're winning these seats with like maybe 100, 500 votes because people aren't voting locally for these local elections.
Yeah, the local election numbers are down bad.
Yeah,
they're down real bad because people feel disenfranchised, man.
Yeah,
they feel disenfranchised.
My partner, Legend, is a big proponent. Trump's going to win a landslide, but if you see the last election, Republicans did terrible locally. I mean, absolutely terrible. We got murdered. They got murdered. I say we because I hate the liberals so much now and the left so much. So I say Republicans got murdered down the line. And that's what I fear is like they suck on the ground. They don't have a message. Republicans don't have them. We have Trump. Yeah, Trump. That's it. That's the only message we have.
That's the only message.
It's a shitty message to have. And then on the other side, Democrats are in the streets. They're going door to door. They're in the colleges. They're outside comedy shows. They're doing everything they can to try to get that independent voter to lean a certain way, and that's what I'm really feared. Like, that's what I fear about. And, and that's not to say that Republicans any better, but if you're seeing the one party's for fucking your kids over, making everything weird. And the other ones are just like, hey, let's live our life. It is that lesser of two evils, I guess you could say. But again, it's a deeper conversation with a lot more thought out, a lot more things that you got to think about and put it into play. But, I am going to probably vote Trump this time.
Is New Jersey considered purple or is it pretty blue?
Blue is the problem is most of New Jersey is red. Southern Jersey, Western Jersey, Northern Jersey, very red. It's just you got Newark, Camden, Princeton. Not Princeton. What's the name of that? Where the big thing is? It's Princeton. Yeah, these big counties. Jersey City, Union City. These areas are big Hispanic populations, Black populations. They're all blue, and there's a lot of people in there in those counties, and that's what makes it really blue, and it's hard to turn it.
Yeah, because there's a lot invested in keeping that blue. I completely see.
Absolutely.
All right, we're going to hit Pro first on closing thoughts, ideas, where to find you, what people need to know. Then we're going to hit Reef, and we're going to call it a night.
Oh, man, sounds like a win. Well, man, it's been, first of all, bro, appreciate you for coming in, man.
Thank you. This has been a lot of fun. It's 2.5 hours almost. This is great.
I know. I'm mad we got to let you go. I'm like, man, if I don't end it, I could go another 4 hours with you, bro. So
literally, man, it's been a great night.
Definitely we could do it again.
Absolutely, man. So appreciate you on that. outside of that, man, you're absolutely right. We need to do another one where we talk about this warp speed thing. There's a video on my Rumble page you guys can go check out where I went slap fool in 2020, talking about Trump and COVID. And a lot of people was like, oh, Trump doesn't care. I was like, no, this motherfucker probably was the only person who did care, because like he was in the White House and he brought in all these doctors and stuff, and there was different things that he was talking about. Whether it was the vaccine. I don't even think he mentioned the vaccine at this particular meeting. He was talking about, the O3
therapeutics and
gas
everything,
and the therapeutics and the ultraviolet lights, the blue rays. Like there was things that he was talking about that no one else was speaking on. I think the problem came in, it was my aunties and my grandma and the people who, who look like me who, oh, we need a vaccine. I'm not going to do anything unless there's a vaccine. Like there was a lot of old people who said that. And you already know they went to what do you call those things? Those think tanks, those little question rooms where they're going to ask people, you know what I'm saying? Well, which way should we go? And what are the people talking about? And then they went with that, instead of him holding his nuts. So that's a conversation that we definitely need to have. You know what I'm saying, about him and holding his nuts and being that abrasive person. Because, people I think need to understand that. And as you said, we need to focus on the fight of being on the street level. The Republicans do a horrible job on that street level. So we have to get our people in, qualified candidates. I know qualifying starts here in Georgia on March 4th.
Yeah.
It's March 4th to March 8th. So we have to make sure we have the right people.
Very simple, not to interrupt you. Very simple. Just go to your local monthly meetings in your town. Just go. There's only 10 people there usually. Be the 11th person. It makes a huge difference. They see your face. You can do the littlest things you want it done. I mean, in my house, I put a dead end sign because I lived in a cul-de-sac. I asked them to put a dead end sign. They put a dead end sign. It made a huge difference of people passing by. But sorry to interrupt you. Just go to your local meetings. It's such a great. Just go.
That was my Facebook Live this morning. I did a beautiful 2-hour and some change live, if I'm not mistaken. And that's what we were talking about. Just getting involved, getting in your neighborhood association, being in your PTA, supporting each other, supporting the community. Like we have to do that. It starts with us. So if you guys want to follow me, I'm on X at Seaport Pro. I'm on Facebook, Pro Reacher Adams, PROREACHERADAMS. I'm there. I'm nominated for 5 awards with Savannah. Savannah's next Savannah magazine, Best of Savannah. So you can go on to the X or you can go on Facebook. The pin post is that. Go vote for your boy. They're open until March 6th. So let's go ahead and get over the hump. Make sure you get your tickets to the Grifties. It's going down March 9th, right? March 9th.
That sound drop.
In New we will be in Jersey, right? We will definitely be in Jersey, knocking it out, going ham. I'll be DJing. I will be making the Hotep Sisters throw that ass in a circle. So make sure
those malls are gonna be there. The Hotep malls. Middle-aged white women come heavy at the Hoteps.
It's going down, man. It's going down, and I can't wait to hit my HJ impression with Sonny. Why'd you block me, Sonny? I can't wait to hit it, man. It's going down.
Yeah, Reef, I didn't know if you knew, but me and Pro are crashing at your place. So
let's go, baby. Let's go. Come on in. We'll set up the air mattresses. We'll do it like old school days.
Turn up. Let's get it.
This PlayStation all night. Yeah. My favorite was the classic Jackass where we would do the razor and take a thing out of your head. So like you're sleeping and you're not paying attention and then sit, and the back of your head has a funky. I love that. See, I was a jerk. All right, we got protocol stuff up. We're gonna toss it over to you, Reef. Talk to us, man. Let us know where we can find you, what you got coming up, where they can tune in, all of that good stuff.
Well, I am the Haram Life on X. You can follow me. I'm the best account you haven't followed yet. I got takes all day. All I do is make things fun for everybody. That's the Haram Life on X. You can find us on YouTube, Rumble, all your streaming audio podcasts, the Haram Life. We're on every Wednesday night at 9:00 Eastern. We've been doing it for 64 weeks straight, and we're going to continue to do them. 9:00. Join the chat. Have a little fun. It's not what you see today. A little more jokes, and it's just like a fun, friendly hangout. Go to theharamlife.com. We got merch there too. You can sign up to be on our show. We accept everybody be on a show. You can't be on the whole show, but we'll get you on the show to be part of it. And that's just what we do. We have a little fireside chat with everybody and the Haram Life. That's it. Look it up. Buy our t-shirts.
Hey.
Yeah, you guys got new merch. I love it.
Yeah. Well, these are our sold out shirts, but we're getting some new merch coming in soon.
Heck yeah, man. I'm gonna cop me one of the. I'm leaving the Grifties with so many t-shirts. I'm gonna get a Sam Tripoli t-shirt. I'm hoping Pro brings me one. I'm gonna get I've already got a couple of HJ shirts put back. You know what I mean?
I can't wait to meet the pimp on the blimp. I can't wait to meet Alex Stein.
Right.
Yo, he's crazy, bro. I love that guy, man.
Bro, and they are ripping into him. I don't know if you heard. Actually,
yeah, I saw that. I just watched the show before here, and he did this fake apology, and he was fantastic.
Rolling, I love it.
He's the best. I can't wait to meet him.
Yeah, he's awesome, man. Yeah, what's cool is him and Chrissy and Lil Lila are all like a little comedy team. They work a ton together in Dallas. I'm going to be working with them for a couple shows in Dallas and here in Oklahoma City area and Tulsa this summer. So it's just beautiful, man. Everything has worked out beautiful, man. It's a blessing all around. And yeah, man, guys, please check out theharamlife.com. Subscribe to the Haram Life podcast. Of course, got a shout out to my man. You got to listen to Friday Night Flights as well, starring Protocol. It's a brilliant show. You also really need to listen to Rumble on Rumble. I honestly feel like it's the best work I do of everything I do. Like literally from day job to, being a husband to my others, even this show. I have fun on this show. This show is meant to be a little less, good and a little looser, a little sloppier. It's all right. But, I feel like what we do is gourmet. You know what I mean? We Chef Ramsay that. Yeah, man.
And I'm coming to Savannah and being part of that Friday Night Flights one day. I want to come down there.
Absolutely, bro. We'll set that up, man. I'll set one of the fun ones while I'm in the club.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah. I would like that.
In fact, man, we're planning a whole thing for Juneteenth, man. Maybe holler at your boys. You know what I'm saying? And
absolutely. Legend and Chato Legend lives in North Carolina. Chato's in South Carolina now. So hopefully I can get them both, pick them up on the way down.
Yeah, they're down the road. Shit.
Yep.
Yeah, we doing
right
this.
Across the water.
Bringing the new,
like you said, we got to do a little crossover, all of us together on the screen.
Absolutely.
All 6 of us. All 5 of us.
Guys, I want to thank you so much for tuning in. Once again, Sunday nights, Rumble, Facebook, YouTube, the Rumble on Rumble. I think I'm going to switch over to Instagram because Facebook be messing with me too much now. And Tuesday nights this. And guys, thank you so much for tuning in. If you haven't got your Grifty tickets, get them now. And guys, God bless. Thank you so much. We will see you soon. Bye-bye.